Manchester City's 21-game winning run has come to an end after the Premier League leaders lost 2-0 to rivals Manchester United. Champions Liverpool were beaten again this time 1-0 to struggling Fulham. Tottenham beat Crystal Palace 4-1. From Sky News, I'm Tim Jones.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call. And get talking across the northeast, please. Because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Evening all. Hi everybody, Alan Robson with you. Thanks for listening. And for those of you on YouTube and various other places, Facebook, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Got a few things coming up in the next few weeks and months you're going to have to watch out for. Going to need your help with a few things too. Tell you more about that in the weeks to come. However, tonight, just as in the distance, you can see this little glint of normal. Maybe. So I thought, holidays, that's the challenge tonight. First chance you get, where you going? Is it somewhere you've been or is it somewhere you're dying to go? What's going to be your first foray out of your own area? Because let's face it, you've probably walked or driven almost a furrow to your supermarket and back, and that's been pretty much it. So where are you going? You're going to have a day trip out to the coast? You're going to go to the country? You're going to climb a mountain? You're going to plodge in the lakes? What are you going to do? And what's the best and worst holiday you've ever had? Leanne wants me to give Zach a quick hello. Tell him sleep. It's school for the first time this year in the morning. Or you could do what is traditional on Night Owls, which is going really tired. Stephen Tannock is in Northern Ireland, the wearers of the green. We love you. Thanks for being with us. But we want your best holiday, your worst holiday. Northern Ireland, Belfast's a great trip. Kells, oh yeah. Giant's Causeway, that wild coast, fabulous. Where's the worst place you've been and why was it worstest? Have you had an incident on holiday? I had a major fight in Jamaica, came back really brutalised. Like to think I gave as good as I got, but I probably didn't. I looked knacked when I came back. And occasionally on holiday there's things in the bed that you didn't expect. You wake up, you're covered with bed bugs and they're all bloodsuckers, so they're parasites. Did you have a rep that...
Yes, but we couldn't find one anywhere. They keep saying we'll get one to come see you in an hour.
Did they move you to another hotel? What happened?
Nothing. They just said there was no way.
So you've got to go back in the bed with the bed bugs?
Yep.
What?
They said they would have died off by them because there's been at your partner's body and it would have killed them off.
Whoa, hang on a second. Do you think your lad's toxic or something? What? The bedbugs probably all dead now because they've eaten your boyfriend. Unbelievable. Mind you, there's worse things to worry about on holidays.
So I'm about 200 yards out, and I looks down, and there's this big black thing underneath me.
Oh, what?
Oh, boy, I got the fright of my life. I didn't know what to do. So I thought, right, swim to the shore. That's the only thing to do. So I started swimming to the shore, and I'm getting about 150 yards in,
yeah,
and I'm looking down the front crawl, and the black thing is still underneath me. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's not going nowhere. And what flashes through your mind at that time is like the front of the cover of Jaws. You know the book?
Yeah, absolutely. That, like, it's coming up from underneath you there. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm panicking, and I'm now remembering what my dad said, don't go into the sea. So I swim faster, and I suddenly realised all the sharks always go for all these people who were kicking and everything like that. So I started to do the breaststroke.
Yeah, but that's slower. That's even slower, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but, you know, things pass through your mind. So I'm keeping swimming, right, and I'm panicking like mad.
Yeah.
And I get about 20 yards into shore, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Looks down, black thing's still there. It's my own shadow on the bottom of the crystal clear.
No.
Well, it's not like the northeast. We've got grey sea. You don't see anything underneath there, do you?
If there's something dark beneath you when you're swimming in the North Sea, it's quite possibly come from one of our toilets. Over the years, we've been very fortunate to dish out some amazing prizes. Hello, who's this, please? It's Alan Robson from the Night Owls programme.
You're joking.
No, it's me. Who am I speaking to, please?
Elizabeth
Hello, Elizabeth. Whereabouts do you live, darling?
at Sunderland.
Well, the thing is, you know we're running this competition for somebody to go to Barbados.
Yeah, you're joking.
Well, you've won the third prize. It's a key ring in the shape of a lizard. The problem is, you've got to come to Barbados to pick it up. You've just won. Congratulations, Elizabeth.
Oh my God!
You're going to Barbados.
I can't believe it.
Who are you taking?
I guess it'll be my husband.
Oh, you spoil sport. There's people out here we can introduce you to. How about that? And then, of course, we got people that go to places like Amsterdam, but they want to bring a souvenir back, and not one that needs medication.
Our young one was in Amsterdam at the weekend, my brother.
So now I presume he is a man.
He was taking photographs in the sex shop window.
Uh-oh.
He was taking photographs, Alan, because he couldn't believe what they were selling. They had these leather...
You mean
they had
women?
these- no, equipment you can buy.
Oh, I see. Right,
Paraphernalia.
like what?
Leather masks, right?
Uh-huh.
With bog brushes stuck to the top for people to clean the bog with the heat. Well, they've got to stick your heat down the pot and clean the pot while you lick the seat. Oh, God. Oh, dear me.
Whoa.
And the worst thing was, he's still living at my mother's when I went round at the weekend. That pot has never been as clean.
So what is the maddest thing you've brought back from a holiday? We buy some tat usually. But what's the weirdest, funniest, strangest, oddest thing? If you've been to Greece, you might have seen that Greek god that is just essentially a huge penis with a little man attached to it. A lot of people brought them back, thinking it was a joke. They've been fertile ever since. And then, of course, we got to work out, if we are going to have a holiday at any point, where are we going to go? Well, sometimes I can be the oracle. I can help you find the right place for you.
I mean, I've heard that Tenerife is nice.
Yeah, it used to be. Tenerife used to be very, very popular, but people are now going to Ninerife instead.
Ninerife?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the thought for you, you know. At least you're away from where it's really busy, and you're just far enough that if you want to go in there and do a bit of partying, you can.
Right.
Or you could go to Wannerreef, where it's really very quiet.
Wannerreef?
Wannerreef, huh?
Oh.
Yeah. Then Toureef.
Right.
Okay. And then goes right the way through to Tenerife.
Right. But the nicest place, what did you think it was?
Probably out of all of them,
Ninerife.
Ninerife, because it's right next door. So, where have you been? I want to know all the crack and how much fun you had and make us all feel like we're on holiday with you. That would be great. Things about the holiday, that the people that you take, how they really annoy you and irritate you. I want all of that. And when you break free, what are your priorities? Where are you going first? What are you going to do first? Can I just mention dog owners briefly? I watched this guy pick up 3 huge dog poos. And I thought, I wouldn't do that for a pension. I mean, one of them was running, it was dripping through his fingers on his glove. He's putting them in it. Oh, dear. It's just vile watching. It's not good to watch. I couldn't imagine the warmth in this. Oh, dear. Do tell. COVID passports. Apparently, they're almost certain. The likelihood is that everybody will have to pay about a 10 or a 20 quid for them, so that money will help pay off the bills for the whole COVID situation. Joe Linton and Andy Carroll, the strikers that just can't score. How many chances are they going to get before they eventually twig and move them on? What do you think? And Rafa Benitez takes over Celtic on the day that Steven Gerrard lifts the title for Rangers, who come back through all those different leagues. Amazing. And should Newcastle be ashamed, because Rafa could still have been at St James's Park. Got another competition as well, you know. Beer gardens are going to be open April the 12th. You're going to be able to have a drink in a beer garden. How about that? And from tomorrow you can meet one person, or you can visit care home residents, or you can bring a care home resident back to your place, which is very nice. The Chancellor apparently is planning to take money from the elderly and money off pensions to pay for COVID. And of course, all the way through with the hard work nurses have been doing, they were promised that they'd be remembered by Boris. Boris has remembered them for 1%. Ooh, if you are a nurse, I would love your view on that. School holidays could be cut permanently. They don't want to keep big 8-week holidays anymore. They're going to teach kids for longer, possibly as a way to catch up initially, but they're going to leave it that way. Will Scotland vote to stay part of Britain? Will Wales? Will Northern Ireland? What do you think? Or has Brexit really spiked the union? Was Meghan right to air dirty laundry with Oprah? What do you think? Royals have always been a bit tight-lipped. Or do you not care? I must admit, I'm not going to be watching, because I really can't be bothered. And also, prepare for a hard winter, the government told us today. Don't look forward for an amazing autumn or late summer. No, prepare for a hard winter with COVID and flu. And I was talking to a doctor in the week. Everything's cool. And the doctor told me that probably by next year they'll have a new vaccine that covers flu and COVID all in one package. Never mentioned that on the news, so just remember where you heard that one first. And also, having a baby over 40. So, lady, she's 52. She wants a baby. Doctor says that she's still having periods, so it's possible. Is it a good idea? Because when the baby's 10, she's going to be 62. Can you keep up with a baba under those circumstances? And also, do you know, tomorrow, McDonald's has a 30% deal off everything. No idea why, but if it saves you a few quid off your morning McMuffin, happy days. Also, the Labour Party are going to vote against a stealth tax raid on families. Not the rich families, of course, the middle-class families. And how about this? Alan, I lost nearly all of my friends after I divorced. She cheated on me, but they all stuck by her. And she called me worse than muck. Am I the only one that lost all my friends after a divorce? Well, how do you pick up and kick that all off again if somebody takes sides like that? We're never a particularly good friend, were they? And Brexit has already caused the closure of over 300 established firms because they sold mainly in Europe, and now problems at ports and tariffs and what have you. Has it affected you in the business that you're in? Whatever you want to talk about, pick up your telephone. Holidays. Come on, let's get cracking. Let's remember the sunny days or the rainy days or the snowy days, wherever you went. What happened? I want to know everything. Alan Robson's Night Owls, Greatest Hits Radio Northeast, and we're waiting for you.
The voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Yeah, just waving my tasty comestibles at the webcam during those commercials. However, you guys, you're really super keen to just get cracking. Andrew wants to go to Blanchland. Kevin's already booked Turkey on the 28th of June. James, Spain for me, he says. And then Charlie, who's already in Spain, says hi. Hola, you suntanned mother flipper. Not that we're jealous, mind. And Jack says, on the lash in Ash, and then off to Sandy Bay Caravan Park to recover and hang over, literally. Carol wants to go to Whitby, says it's the best place to recharge your batteries. Some great ones here. Edwin's going to Sea Houses. Oh, I can just imagine. Curry and chips from the Neptune down by the car park, just up from it, and drive the seagulls into a frenzy for your bits and bobs left. Dawn, Cyprus with my husband Tom, celebrating 50 years service with the Royal Mail. That's in June, so congratulations for that. That's an amazing record. Dawn's going to visit a sissy in York. Lego Man says, the furthest I've ever been is Edinburgh, and he obviously didn't see the sign, judging by the way he spelled it. And Christine, Mallorca, she favours, although Scarborough would probably do. Problem is, Vicky, her worst holiday was Mallorca. There was no air conditioning in the apartment where she was, and it was directly above the laundry, so it was red hot, and she got eaten by mozzies. Don't know who mozzies is, but anyway, we mentioned 0191488 3188. Mosquitoes, nothing worse. You get one bite and you think, oh, I hope that's all. Then you wake up in the morning like a Dalmatian. Let's crack on. We have Laura, who is in Seaham. Hello, Laura.
Hi, Alan. You're right.
I'm very well. Thank you very much for calling. What's your story tonight, then?
So obviously you were talking about staycations and that.
Yes.
I've got a couple of caravans up at Cresswell, so that's where we're going on the 12th.
Well, you've already the first day you can is where you're off. Brilliant.
Absolutely. I need to go up and make sure that they survive the winter and that.
Right.
But no, I want to get up there and have just some chill out time with the family and some friends and some alcohol and that.
Breathe air, talk to people, walk on beaches. Oh, blimey, fabulous. And it's simple, but it's the simple stuff I think we've missed more than anything.
Absolutely. Just going back to the simple stuff, that's the main thing.
For sure.
But I was hearing about some of the ghost stories up there, and it said that you might know a few.
Absolutely. Oh, there's a whole host in that neck of because you've got to remember that whole coast is a Viking coast. So there's a Viking coast. There's been pirates up there. There's an amazing story about some of the pirates that used to. Long story, very short. A couple of the pirates that used to be with Captain Kidd. Mm-hmm. Have you heard Captain Kidd? He was a Caribbean pirate, massive thorn in the side of the British at the time. They eventually caught Kidd and they hung him on a dock and put him in one of those cages where all the flesh rots off your bones. Nice. And two of the guys that were with him, because most of his crew were massacred by the British, two of them escaped and they went up to Allenmouth and they stole a boat and started behaving as pirates off the northeast coast. There's a great story connected to Cresswell and Allenmouth Beach about how they murdered people who were trying to dob them in it. You got plenty of choice up there, so you'll have a ball. But the best thing about it, though, is you're not staring at the same four walls.
Absolutely. You've got it's a perfect mix because you've got the beach and then you've got the Cresswell Tower and you've got the old hall as well. It's ruined, so it's brilliant to go walking through there and that with the dogs. It's fab.
And it's just any kind of different scene at the present moment will do. Be happy with that. How do you feel about this thing? It's like from tomorrow you can talk to another person, a strange person, who's not in your bubble. Have you picked who's nominated to be your person outside your bubble then? Have you got
To be honest, I go to work, I come home, I see the kids, I go to bed. I haven't got time to speak to one person outside of my bubble. I think if I did, it would probably be my tailor, my pal.
Right.
He'll come over every so often and I can just stand out in the garden.
Well, is it going fast enough for you? Because I think for me, it cannot go fast enough, really. And I understand why everything's taking the pace that it is, because it's going to be what it's going to be. But I think everybody's chomping at the bit now to say, open the gates, let us loose.
I think that. I don't think, obviously, going back to the last lockdown, everybody took it so seriously. You didn't see people out on the streets, you know, the cars. You could get to work in like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Now it takes us 10 minutes.
Right.
And now I don't think people have taken it as seriously. I think people are just, they've had enough. And they just think, if I'm going to catch it, I'm going to catch it.
Yeah, but I do think that the more the tears go down of people who's being inoculated, because you got to remember it was the older people who were catching it off younger people who had it but were still healthy.
Yeah.
But the older ones are now being vaccinated, so fingers crossed more people can stay safe. We were told that today the numbers have dropped below 100 for the first time. And I hate all this numbers business, man, I must admit. But it's less than 100 now for the first time since October. So fingers crossed. And anything that's a plus and not a minus these days we'll absolutely take. So how long are you going up to Cresswell for then?
Probably just a couple of nights for the first time, just to check the caravans over, make sure they've survived and that. Right. And then I've got them booked out. People are literally, as soon that first day that it got announced, my inbox was just going mental. I couldn't even get a hold of a diary to keep note of who was booked in when.
Brilliant.
So we're just going to go up, you know, as and when we can during the times when it's not booked out. But I've got a funny story. One of the last times that we were up at Cresswell. Yeah. It was me, my husband, and two of our friends, Ash and Rhino. We'd gone up and we're having a few drinks or what have you. It was late on, I think probably about 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And myself and my friend's husband had gone outside for a little vape break. Mm-hmm. And there was this light in the sky. And we were just staring. Bearing in mind, we have had a drink at this point. I'm not going to lie. But we're staring at this and I'm going, is that the North Star? And Rhino's going, no, I'm sure that's not. So we watched it and it started moving. So we watched this thing move, right? And we literally, where the caravan is out on the deck, and it's just surrounded by forest and that. Right. So it's quite creepy. Uh-huh. Obviously in the dark hours and that. This light literally just was there 1 second, gone the next. Ooh. So we were like, oh my God, is there aliens in the forest? We were laughing more than anything, but scared laughing. It was funny. But the other two wouldn't believe us. Wouldn't believe that it was there. But we were speaking to somebody else, and they'd seen the exact same thing, this light that was there, and it just disappeared. That was creepy.
It was weird because years and years, I'm talking probably 25, 30 years ago, we had a case where somebody said there's a UFO over Seaham Harbour. Uh-huh. So as soon as the message came in, I said on air, apparently there's a UFO over Seaham Harbour. I got about 40 calls within seconds from people saying, I'm watching it outside, out my window. I'm in Seaham. I'm in the block of flat. I'm right at the top. I can see it clearly. It's hovering off the sea. It's Seaham. And then somebody rang in saying, it's just started heading north up the coast. And then I was getting calls from people in Roker. I can see it. It's. Then I rang the RAF people at Boomer, you know, because they've got radar and all that kind of stuff. And they said, there's nothing up there for you to worry about, which tells you nothing. Doesn't mean whether it's one of theirs or it's one of an enemy's or it's an alien thing. No help whatsoever, because we're not allowed to tell you, but there's nothing there for you to worry about. Right? But we followed it right the way up the coast past Berwick, and people were watching it the whole way. It was about a mile off the coast, and it was really low. Not one of these, it could be a star kind of thing. This was low, and when people say, well, it was obviously a commercial aircraft, what commercial aircraft can hover for 20 minutes off Seaham?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah. So there's obviously stuff there, but again, we're not sure whether it came from Earth. You know, it's something that we're working on, but seeing out about. Or there's things out there waiting to land in Cresswell Woods, where there's a lockdown just waiting for you. They're waiting for you.
Oh, dear God, don't say that. I'm going to go back up.
I think you... to be honest, it's getting to the point where if aliens just wanted to take me away now, just anywhere it'll do. It'll be fine. Anything else while you're on then, Laura?
No, that's it. That's it, my lovely.
Bless you, darling. You take care and really have a ball when you get up there, lass.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye-bye. She's lovely. She's going to have a semi-staycation in Cresswell where there's haunted bits and there's fascinating stories up that neck of the woods. Let's crack on. We have Edwin, who is in Gateshead, I think. Hello, Edwin.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. Thanks for calling in.
How's you and Jen? You and Jen all right?
All good. All
great,
well.
mate.
That's the main thing.
Good staycations, to I've heard, is Millgate Bed and Breakfast, and it's in Masham in North Yorkshire.
Oh, blimey. That's a fair
that
way.
won an award for it was world famous bed and breakfast. That one. You know, if anybody that's just for days away and that.
And also, if you're down there, you can do.
As well.
If you go down there and you got a car, you could do the Yorkshire Moors, York, Harrogate, all those kind of places. Cool.
Yeah, Battlestead as well as one. Battlestead and Walk. That's supposed to be good as well.
Brilliant. Oh, that's fab. Are you going to?
Congratulations on! I've just heard that you've got something in the pipeline there.
Well, we're working on it. We've decided we're going to strike out. So we'll tell you more about it at the time. But hopefully, it's something to get excited about. So that's good.
Oh, great, mate! That's really great news. I'm over the moon about that.
Thank you, man.
That's brilliant. Man.
So you wanted to talk a bit about the nurses' pay thing. What do you reckon to it all?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's shocking, really, the way they're being treated. I mean, you know, the people have gone on a booth, gone on holiday and stuff like that. You've got to think of what they went through. You know, that's we are looking at, like. Yeah. You know what obviously, you know, there's a police as well. Mm. What they've had to deal with, the fire brigade and stuff like that. People forget about people like that. You know, I think the way the government went on. I mean, if that was anybody else's job, the way Boris has dealt with it, I mean, what he's done now, he should have done at the beginning. You know, the way he went through it, with the processes he went through it. Mm. And I don't think really anybody else will be sacked for doing what they've done. I mean, it's disgraceful. I mean, really, they put their life on the line. The only reason that the manager was getting people out of retirement, not to help out and stuff like that. True. But it's never been acknowledged, has it?
No, it hasn't, and it's one of those things, because I know that. Do you know when you go regularly to the same doctor for like 10 years? Now, I did that. Had a lovely bloke in a practice in Morpeth, lovely lad. Then he retires, and you go, "Oh, hell's teeth! I'm gonna have to find someone from the remnants that you've got any belief in." You know.
Well, last had like she had caught a belt on her stomach, and she got this like bled thing on her stomach. Oh. She went to the doctor. He says, "Oh, you'll be all right. Just get in the bed, take a paracetamol." And I says, "No." She showed me. I says, "No, I'll take you up to the hospital." I took her to the general. I didn't know why I went there. Right. I took the general. They rushed her from there to, I think it was the RVI. Right. The RVI, and they say that she would have been dead with a septicemia. Oh, you know what had happened. So what it wasn't. The doctors were useless, you know. Over here, I mean, like your local doctor, because we didn't know our local doctors much now, because they changed him to the practice. And on top of that, they didn't want to see us for a long time, did they? They were telling us to give us any reason for you not to come in. But so that wasn't just a bleb; that was a septic bleb then. Oh well, it was horrible. I was like purple, you know. It was I knew straight away she was in pain. I was like, get in the car, jump in the car, and straight out with the car. I don't know why I went to jail. I just went there, and then they took her. He looked at it, and he had a lancet or something, lancet off. Yeah. I think he put like a ring bandage on, so the air would get to it, so it would heal quicker. And they rushed her from there straight to the RVI. But that thing about the general, the thing about the general hospital, and I've got a lot of time for that. I was born in the general hospital, so I've got plenty. You know, I've got plenty to thank them for. But when one of the ladies that worked for me passed out, you know, and she banged her head on the floor, and this was 2:00 in the morning. It was actually 1:45. I had to end the show early, and she banged her head, and I thought, hell's teeth, head injuries you kind of take a chance with. And she was kind of woozy, but she wasn't all there. Frankly, she was never all there, but she certainly wasn't all there that night. So I picked her up, and I carried her to the car, and I stuck her in the car, and I drove up to the nearest hospital that I thought, General Hospital, accident emergency.
I got to the door and they turned me away. I've got somebody in my arms.
Aye. Well,
And they turned me away and sent me up to... I had to then put her back in the car and then drive her up to the RVI.
Well, the ambulance driver was complaining, well, last time he's had to be finished. He should have been finished. But I mean, I could have took him to the car, but I followed the ambulance up. But when my mum was in hospital, she was in the QE.
Yeah.
The QE is really just seen as a hut on the hill, really, as far as the hospitals are concerned. But the nurses there, when they gathered and talked, this was like Christmas Day when she was dead, and she died on Christmas Day, 2001. So it was a nightmare, and trying to get parked in my street. I had a problem there. That's not their new next door.
Right.
That's not their new. Wouldn't let us use the drive because it's like a shared drive that I've got. So I had to try to find somewhere to park. And but the nurses were like milling around talking. My mother was in pain. I was going off it. But I mean, that's just a one-off incident. I mean, in general, though, they do a lot. They do a lot of good.
I think they're going to be some of the first people that will get away. I think they're just because they're going to need to blow off steam more than anybody, aren't they? Really?
Definitely. Definitely, because they've gone through so much, man.
For sure.
And I mean, not only human as well. I mean, you've only got to watch the telly. You see enough on the telly what you see. What they must gone through now, the emergency thing. At night time, they've got knackers coming in or drunk or on drugs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? People
and they're
like
slapping
that.
them around as well a lot of the time.
It's not on,
not
is
acceptable at all, is it?
No, it should be a name and shame for them.
Yeah, and also two big burly security guards to make sure that nobody steps out of line. I mean,
definitely, aye.
It's unnecessary, isn't it? When you're going to get yourself repaired and you go to a place and you give them a load of aggravation. What's that about?
It's respect's gone out the window from like when I was young, as you know yourself, from our generation to now. It's just forgotten about, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be.
They even seeing now where they were clapping for them. They didn't want that. They want a pay rise. Clapping's all right and seeing that, but it doesn't pay the bills.
Absolutely.
They need money,
Absolutely.
I think there should be a U-turn on that. Either that or we've got to have a benefit concert, like I said the other week, or they've got a strike or something.
Yeah.
There should be a benefit concert in this country, or even around the world, for the whole lot of it, for what's happened.
When you said it the first time, I absolutely bought into it, no question. Anything else then, Edwin?
No, that's it. Thanks, mate.
Good man.
Take care. Good luck with that. Good luck with the new project, anyway.
We'll crack on. Thank you very much. It's just one of those. It's slower than it should be, purely and simply because we want to make sure we keep everybody safe. But it's cooking. Oh, here we go. Pauline is also from Seaham. Hello, Pauline.
Hello there, Alan. How are you keeping?
I'm good, darling. Great to hear from you. What can we do for you?
You had a thing on. I came across it on Facebook about Slavery Jack.
Oh yes, Seaham Beach. Yep.
I've asked 2 or 3 people, and nobody seems to know anything about it. My dad, I was born and bred in Seaham. My dad's nearly 91, bless him, and still going strong. And
Good.
he'd never even heard of it either.
Really?
So can you just go through the story again, and then I can...
As much as I can remember off the top of my head, there was a rich merchant, can't remember the names, mind, but there was a rich merchant who had a daughter that wanted to marry a seaman whose name was Jack, and his dad thought he was a right slaver because he used to lay it on with a trowel. You know, he put on the posh words and I'm going to show your daughter the world and all this kind of stuff. So the dad thought he was a right slaver. Didn't want the daughter to have anything to do with him. Eventually, after lots of to and froing and him going to sea and the dad thinking, well, she'll forget him, she'll meet somebody else because while he's away, because that's what happens. And she never did. And eventually, I could get bits of this wrong, but eventually she smuggled her way she was secreted aboard a ship and carted off with her man, Jack, to sea. They ended up going to Africa where she died. And then Jack came back and eventually... because he didn't want her to go on board the ship because it's very dangerous. The chances of something bad happening to you are massive on board a ship, and that's just being on a tall ship back in the day. So Jack didn't want that, and he blamed the dad for losing his wife, and of course the dad blamed Jack for losing a daughter, and eventually there was a coming together. And there's two strands to the story. One strand was, well, Jack just kept out of his way and they never met and everything was sweet. But I chose to go with the other strand of the story, which I just think is juicier anyway. And that was that Jack ended up persuading, because the dad used to go to the docks to the cliffs just over Seaham Bay with a lantern in the hope that one of the ships would bring his daughter back to him. And Jack was waiting for him and ended up killing him and eating him, because while he was on board the ship in Africa, he saw what some of the natives on the African coast, the Gold Coast in Africa, what they used to do. And he got a taste for human flesh, and he apparently ate the father and stuck the bones off Seaham into the sea. And
delightful.
So I don't. But if you're going to have what you have to remember, I think, with this is, first of all, there were loads of merchants, because merchants, there was two types of people. There was the people that worked, and the people they worked for. And the people they worked for were mainly merchants, and they were richer than everybody else and universally despised. And back then, the sea bringing stuff from around the world, that was a way that the North started fizzing, before coal mines and all that kind of stuff. And
Seaham Dock has been a busy dock over the years.
100%. I mean, there'll be thousands of cool stories. One of the things that I did to find stories like this, find out the name of a ship, and then see how much you can get online that's written about what the ship, the ship's log, because every ship has a log, and if the ship survived, you can sometimes get into websites and you can read the entire story of the ship. And that means on doing that, on Wednesday the 3rd, 1824, young Thompson died when... And they tell you the whole... They give you this cool story. And that's how I got the Slavery Jack story. He called me a slaver and I hated him for that. Actually written down in the log. It's brilliant. Right. Brilliant. So, I mean, it is there for people to dig out, but it's a bit of a grind. But I always think that kind of stuff's worth it, especially if your family were seamen, if they were on board the ship, because they know how the whole system works. And back then it was a crazy time to be out at sea, because whether you were a good guy or a bad guy, what they said on one of the logs that I read, on average, a crewman lasts 2.5 journeys. 2.5 journeys. So
not a lot, like, is it?
If you're a career seaman, it means you'll last about 1.5 years. You're 5-6 months a trip, 1.5 years, and then bye. I need another crew member. That's the reality of it. It's fascinating, but it's a lovely story. The whole Seaham thing's very cool.
I love my home time, like Seaham.
Special.
It's gone through its ups and downs, but
I think the last time I was there was you got a car boot sale along the cliff.
Oh, yeah, massive along the seafront.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
There was people trying to sell their wives and all kinds. I mean, it was a radical car booty, I'll tell you.
That'd be right. I just remember years and years and years ago, you had like a road show going at one time, and you did a show up at Nissan.
I did, that's right, yeah.
And, oh, God, how long ago would that be?
Oh, blimey. I think
20-odd year ago now it's got to be.
I was practically an embryo. I know, I was...
And my ex-father-in-law pointed to me to come up on the stage.
Oh, trouble. Well, I hope I was all right with you. Well, did I cause you any trouble?
You were. No, there had to be 3 couples up on the stage, and we had to sing this daft song and run and hug each other and that. And apparently, me and this other bloke who I don't know from Adam won, and we got a bag full of goodies. So,
well, there you go. That's a result. Come on.
Yeah, it was excellent. Yeah, it's great to talk to you. Anyway.
No, it's my honour. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for coming up on the stage. Without people like you, a roadshow just doesn't work.
Well, it wasn't voluntary, but I enjoyed it anyway.
That's good stuff. Thanks for sharing anyway. Appreciate it.
Now. Take care.
Bye-bye. There you go. You see, we're all related. We're all family. We've all done stuff. We've been talking, though, about the whole holiday malarkey. Let's have Bev, who's in Middlesbrough. Hiya, Bev.
Hiya.
Hello, darling. So, where are you going to break free towards then?
We're wanting to go to North Wales. I had my daughter in the first lockdown.
Oh, blimey, right.
And she hasn't got to see any of her family.
No, well, she's been in prison since she was born, bless her.
Yeah.
Oh, dear
So
me.
we wanted to go down and see everyone. I mean, it's nice having her to FaceTime.
Sure.
And her face lights up when she sees them all, but...
Yeah, but it's still, to me, it's like that's still the telly, isn't it? Do you know, if you're a little kid, you see the telly, then you see people waving on something that looks like the telly, and you cannot whack a cuddle.
No, I know. I'm heartbroken for them, but yeah.
How have you managed, though? Because, I mean, let's face it, toughest time to raise a child is when it's brand new and fresh and it's just popped out. How are you? I mean, how's your health? Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing well.
Good.
It was my first child. I had 6 miscarriages beforehand.
Oh, my God. This is a miracle baby, then.
Yes, she is. She's our little miracle.
Wow. What's her name? We keep talking about her. What's her name?
Lilani.
Lilani. Oh, what a name.
Yeah.
Bing Crosby song from the 1930s, I think. Sweet Lilani. Check it out.
Yes, it is actually.
There you go.
We chose it because it means flowers from heaven in Polynesian.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So,
what a great name.
Yeah. So it's like we've been coping. I mean, it's been hard having to keep her in, not being able to just take at the parks and things, really.
Yeah, but you mums anyway, you want to show the bane off, and you got to. Yeah. I'm going to take the lid off the pram because the sun's out. Let everybody see my miracle baby.
Yeah.
And you haven't had the chance to do that, so it'll be cool.
Yeah.
What a clot. But presumably it's twice as hard because even just for you, it will be routine. And the only time you'll be out is to hit the supermarket, and that's not exactly playtime for the bane, is it? Let's face it.
No. I mean, I'm lucky I've got my partner, and he digs in as well.
Right.
So we manage it together.
Good. So, but you'll be out and about. The family will just. I've been thinking they're going to spoil a rotten, aren't they? That's
well, they've got like because we're pagan. They've got like a Easter presents and Christmas presents and a little gift from Halloween and things like that.
Wow.
Like over last year and then obviously this year, and then it's coming up to her birthday again.
Wow. So, but the thing is, you know, if you think about it, an awful lot of families, and the people listening know who they are, a lot of families say, well, we're not going to see the bane, so it's pointless getting her of this or pointless getting her of that. To their credit, they've bought her a little something for everything and they've just put it aside, so it's going to be a real party when they get a chance to hand them all over.
We can't wait, to be fair. I mean, we've all said, like, once we get down there, we're going to celebrate everything all at once.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's great. You know, there's a lot to be said for people. Everybody seems to have an issue with a member of their family, or me mother never loved me, me dad, hurt me dad. And then you don't see them for the length of time that we haven't seen them for. We actually quite love these people, you know, when it comes to the crunch.
Yeah. I mean, me and my partner are very family-orientated anyway.
Oh, that's good.
So it's like, it's heartbreaking because normally we'd be down there like 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
Just to see them all. We'd normally go on holiday in the summer all together.
Right.
But obviously last year we couldn't, and then it's looking less and less this year because obviously the borders with Wales and England, they're totally different lockdowns.
Yes.
So we're just waiting on dates, fingers crossed.
Yeah, everybody's in exactly the same boat. But mind you, just a question about you mentioned you had 6 miscarriages. I hope you don't mind talking about it. What gave you the courage to keep on keeping on, keep trying?
Well, what it is I have endometriosis.
Right.
I got diagnosed with endometriosis and polycystic ovaries at a young age.
Right.
I'd already had like 2-3 miscarriages at that point. And they'd gone in and they'd taken the endometriosis out as much as they could. And my gynaecologist that I have at the James Cook Hospital is a specialist in new treatments for endometriosis.
Gotcha.
So he found a treatment plan that he thought would fit me.
And
basically, I went on a regimen of, I got injections to shut everything down, basically, in my lady system. They brought on the menopause and everything.
What?
And then after a little bit, you go on some tablets and another set of injections, and it brings it all back together again.
So they took you into the menopause where you can't fall pregnant, and then undid it. I didn't even know they had the power to do that.
It was like a new. They were saying it was like a new regimen that they wanted to try out for people with endometriosis to see the effects that it has on it, whether it slows it down, whether it stops it. And then I'd had 3 miscarriages after that, but then this one just stuck.
Boom. Happy days.
So just,
Happy days, and lovely, sweet Lilani. Fabulous. Hey, well, lovely hearing from you. Thank you, Bev.
Thank you. Oh, can I just say as well?
Yeah, anything.
Thank you so much for your podcast, because she absolutely adores them and it puts her to sleep every night.
But they're grisly as hell.
I know, that's the freaky thing.
This is tantamount to child abuse. I hope you realise.
I don't know whether it's the sound of your voice or what.
Therapeutic.
But, the whole time she's been here, I had her on the Friday. On the Sunday night, we were listening to your show.
Right.
In the hospital.
Sweet. Lovely,
and
lovely.
then your voice just seems to settle her down.
Yeah, it's just the subject matter's just a tad kind of.
I do have it down really, really low, so she can't ask.
Just for picturing little Lonnie giggling after I'm talking about somebody being ripped to pieces.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever it takes to get you through the night, that's a fact. Yeah. Hey, lovely talking to you. Thank you for coming on again.
Thank you very much.
All the best, Alan. Bye-bye. Bye. Kerry says, Alan, can I please have a shout out for my daughter Lauren Bolam, just to let her know that I'm so proud of her. She lost her job in the first lockdown in the beauty industry. She's only 19. She's been my rock through this and still smiles every day and looks after us, making sure that we smile. Superstar, you see. You can always spot a smasher. 01914 883188. Quick break, then let's talk to you lot.
Into the death of a woman who was killed by her husband during lockdown in March. Anthony Williams, who's 70, was jailed for 5 years after admitting to the manslaughter of his wife Ruth at their home in South Wales. Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah Winfrey is said to be the TV viewing appointment of the year, possibly the decade. Snippets released in the run-up to the highly anticipated broadcast in America have shown the couple have not held back in their criticism of the royal family. Sport: Tottenham have thrashed Crystal Palace 4-1 to move 2 points off the Premier League's top 4. Gareth Bale scored twice to continue his good form.
You have to feel good and you have to feel good then to take your opportunities. So, it's football's a strange thing. You can go through bad form, good form. So, it's just about being patient and when you get your chance, trying to take it.
Manchester City's 21-game winning run is over. They were beaten 2-0 by Manchester United. Liverpool lost at home for the 6th time in a row, going down 1-0 to Fulham. And Rangers are the new champions of the Scottish Premiership. It's after Celtic fell to beat Dundee United. But First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has called supporters who broke coronavirus lockdown rules with celebrations disgraceful. Police have made arrests and issued fixed penalty notices in Glasgow city centre. From Sky News, I'm Tim Jones.
Alan Robson with you. This is, of course, Greatest Hits Radio North East. Thanks for being with us. Mark's just been on. He says, Alan, on Thursday I got my first COVID vaccine. I'm 36. My mum phoned the doctors and got herself, my sister and me in to get the jab. It was the AstraZeneca one. I should receive the second jab about the 27th of May. Side effects? I was feeling hot and shivery early hours of Friday morning and a bit of an achy arm. It's Sunday now. I'm feeling okay. Counting down the days, weeks till the second one. And this is somebody who has a phobia of needles. So there you go. If Mark can manage, I think most people will too. Sandor says, Alan, as soon as we're allowed, I'm going to be heading over to the USA to see my son and family. Didn't get to see them last year because my flight was cancelled. And I haven't seen my lovely new granddaughter who was a year old this week. And I haven't seen her yet. Can't wait to meet her and make up for all of the missed hugs. Sandor in Wallsend. And of course, I want to know, what was your version of your holiday from hell?
Unfortunately, what we were actually sold and what was actually portrayed on the internet and pictures was not obviously what was on upon arrival. they tried to sell it as it's a good room because it's facing the pool.
Right.
But you had loose wires hanging out the walls, lights that didn't work, graffiti written on some of the walls in black pen. And obviously having children, one of my little one turned around and actually nearly grabbed the wire and went, "What's this?" I was like, "Obviously don't touch it."
Yeah.
So I went down, complained, and they moved her to another room, slightly smaller, but they said, have a look at it and see what you think. Now, yes, this was better than the first room, but obviously not getting away from the fact that you basically don't get a cleaning service apart from maybe once or twice during the whole fortnight that you're there. You're obviously left to your own devices, buying bug spray, ant spray, all different things to obviously deal with the things that are obviously in the accommodation.
Right.
You find things like a hole in this grid over the top of the drainage, which we thought I could fit our foot down, loose wires, loose pipes. The play area had been ripped down, and what they'd done was it cemented a pole on the ground to two places where you could balance along it.
There you go. So, what's your holiday from hell? And don't forget, Sue sent us some Night Owly jewellery. Got another one here for you. And a Night Owl mug if you are victorious. I'm going to give you 4 clues, which will lead you to 4 answers. Those 4 answers all have something in common, and you've got to work out what the link is. The first clue, a posh name for a big tent. Okay, that's your first clue. A posh name for a big tent. If you're looking for a greatest hit connection, this was the moon that television sang about. Obscure one, that. This was the moon that television sang about. A posh name for a big tent. Write that down. 3 more clues to come. Get ready and see if you can work it all out. Meanwhile, Barry's with us, and he's in Wallsend. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate.
Thanks for calling back. First of all, I just want to make clear, I'm not a racist in any way.
Okay.
I've got Muslim families from Saudi Arabia and from Turkey.
Okay.
But I need to make that very clear.
Right.
The topic is, over the weekend, I've looked on the news about this Begum girl who went to Syria.
Yes.
And she's fighting to come back to the country.
Yes.
And it seems as if all these Black Lives Matter groups are saying she's okay to come back to the UK. And that's fine for her to do that. But personally myself, I think if she wants to come back to the UK, she should be trialed in a court for terrorism, plain and simple.
Right, because she went to join a terrorist organisation. What I said at the very beginning of all that still is my position. If you decide, because if you think about it, the one thing that's still on British statute books that can get you a death sentence is treason. Now, if somebody from Britain decides they want to fight for Britain's enemies, and they want to, and let's face it, I seem to remember this same person talking about how she saw her husband putting the heads of those that had been decapitated into a black bin liner. Now, to me, the thought of somebody talking about that as if it was normal is horrific to start with.
Yes, it is.
But if you, and this is
Saudi Arabian.
And this is nothing about racism. It doesn't matter where the person's from. If you live in Britain and you are living all of the benefits that living in Britain, all of the freedoms that Britain gives you, and you decide you want to beetle off and fight and support Britain's enemies, you should lose your passport, which she did. You shouldn't be allowed back into the country, which up till now she hasn't been. I just can't see the sense, because if she wins that case, how many other hundreds from around the world?
But and this is the reason why I'm saying, right, if she's that desperate, and that's how many are that desperate for her to come back into the country. Yes, she's got kids of her own now. Obviously, she wants a better life for her children, but she should be trialed on terrorism acts.
But if she wanted a better life for her, if she wanted a better life for her children,
she wouldn't have gone off there in the first place.
Why did she take them? And why did she have them where they were, and choose to support the people that wanted to kill British people? I don't get that at all. Now, you could switch it round and say, Well, yes, but we're Great Britain. We're above all of this. This is just a woman who made a bad mistake. She had children to a terrorist. She saw some horrible things, but now she wants to get back to Britain because she realises how stupid she was to make that decision. Is that acceptable?
No, it's not acceptable in my eyes. It's not. As I say, I've got family from Saudi Arabia, and as I say, I know the political laws over there are very strong to what we are in this country.
Sure.
And also I've got Turkish family. But as I say, she's done wrong. She should know she's done wrong. And if she wants to come back in this country, she should be trialed and tested.
Wait, to me, it goes even further than that, though, I suppose, because I heard that she was getting money from the British government to fight her case.
Yes, she was.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you've had your passport removed and you're no longer a British citizen, why should we give you anything? If she wants to fight to get back into Britain, let her do a job, raise some money, hire a solicitor, and get on with it. Because she would therefore be legally allowed to do that. That's not a problem. But I just don't see why we should pay for it.
Us UK government were a soft touch, and that's where a lot of foreigners see us as a soft touch.
Yeah, but Britain's made of people who've travelled here from abroad because the vast majority of us are mongrels.
We wouldn't survive if we didn't have foreigners. If we look at the NHS, we wouldn't be able to survive if we didn't have foreign people coming in to do our jobs.
100%. Absolutely 100%. But you see, what we're talking about is people who are, or who would be illegal if they were here. She's trying to do everything correctly, but does that mean that everybody from abroad who wants to try and live in Britain and isn't eligible, we'll give them a few £100,000 so they can fight a case? I just don't understand the rationality.
It's crazy.
Don't get it. But hey, time will tell. Anything else while you're on, Baz?
Yeah, the NHS. I think the government should hang their heads in shame with the pay rise. I think there should be a UK petition put out saying that they deserve a hell of a lot better. A pat on the back and a clap in the street is just not good enough.
Now, mind you,
they put their lives at risk for us.
The government probably say, well, yes, but we've just spent billions and billions and billions of pounds on furloughs and getting the various vaccines ready, and we've had to look after everybody who's not been able to work because of losing their jobs or whatever. They've spent billions. We can't afford to give them a pay rise at the moment. That's what they're probably going to say, isn't it?
Well, I think at the end of the day, the government have said the NHS is the pinnacle of this country during the coronavirus situation.
Mm-hmm.
So why not make that the pinnacle as giving them what they deserve?
Right.
They deserve far much better. They're the ones who put their lives at risk to save our lives. And I think it's an absolute disgrace. A 1% pay rise is just not good enough.
Yeah, what you say. Thank you very much, Barry. Good call. Thanks, mate.
No, but Alan.
All the best. Bye-bye. Well, strong words from Barry. Is he right? Is he wrong? David from Sunderland's going to dive straight in. Hi, David.
Hi, Alan.
Same topic for you. How do you stand in all of this?
Well, I think Doris and his government are an absolute disgrace. They've wasted millions on PPE that's no good. They wasted millions on a track and trace system that didn't work. They've thrown billions of pounds away, and then they turn around saying they can't pay these people.
And I just heard about 3 days ago that apparently they've spent millions doing up number 9 Downing Street to be some kind of telecommunications centre. What?
No, that's just so they can put the podiums up and go and stand and give the daily broadcast.
Oh, my goodness. Really? How does that cost? Even if I was a joiner, that would be like £26.50 to build.
They're saying it's a listed building. For all the day, had to stick the 3 podiums they've been using in the room and put some lights.
Yeah, I don't understand the extreme cost. But no, you're quite right. And isn't it funny, because before the whole pandemic, the Tories were saying, well, we've got no money, we're behind, we're paying off all this money, the debt that we've already got, we haven't money to give anybody any help at all. And then they've spent something like £380 billion on COVID that they found with a click of a finger. So I'm fairly sure they could find more than 1% for the nurses if they
obviously
wanted to.
borrowing that from the World Banks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the nurses' representatives are already talking that they might strike.
Yeah.
So even if they just go and work the roof.
Yeah, but you know yourself that the nurses and doctors, when they've had a strike before, they've kept enough people on to keep the kettle boiling, which defeats the object of a strike, if you think about it. But they care too much about the people they're looking after to put their lives at risk, and respect to them for that.
Point, but is vaccination program grind to a halt?
Mm-hmm.
They've already got millions waiting for the second dose.
Yeah.
And while they're doing them, they're not going to be able to vaccinate anybody with the first doses.
Which puts pressure on. It could happen. That could be the way it goes. We'll have to wait and see.
But he's got plenty of time to do TV appearances at hospitals and vaccine centres, which is a total waste of time. You know, I didn't want to see him carrying a box. He's probably got nothing in because I wasn't trusted to carry out.
Yeah, and you keep saying, I'm just for the cameras, I'm going to pretend that I'm packing a box full of supplies. Yeah. And you think, no, you didn't. You did a box just for the photo opportunity. But
that's all he's interested in.
But every politician does that, of all parties. It's not just his lot. It's all of the politicians that love to be seen doing the... we were out there doing... And they're there for about 3 minutes and then they're off doing something else.
Do you know? They're wasting people's times in the hospitals, people's times in the vaccine centres, because they're having to stop while he comes in with all his security crew, check everything's safe, and he's in there 5 minutes and sods off for somewhere else.
I wish the news was as straightforward as that. Lovely stuff, David. Thank you again. Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
No problems, Alan. Nice talking to you.
All the best. Bye-bye. It just seems the whole weight of public opinion is look after the nurses. Now, it's International Women's Day tomorrow, and we're marking the occasion with the themed out anthems at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning with Rossi. Midday and also 4 p.m. featuring and celebrating some of the greatest female artists of all time. So let's bring International Women's Day through the hours by pre-promoting some fantastic anthems. And I mean, there's an endless amount of female talent, and we're going to be sharing it for you, highlighting some of the big and best female tracks of all time. International Women's Day tomorrow. Does it mean anything to you? Because in my opinion, it's just a humble man. Look after the women, and the women will look after you till the day you die, for they are loyal, steadfast and true, the good ones. 0191 488 3188. International Women's Day. Ladies, why is it important? Do you still need one? You fought for suffrage and you got it. And some people would say you got more power in the world than you've ever had. You wrap men round your pinky. What more do you want? Or should we just cut them off, put them in an envelope and pass them to you? What do you reckon? I was joking. 0191 488 3188. How important is International Women's Day? Or should we, instead of getting down on one knee, we've supported the Black Lives Matter campaign, should we have a get down on one knee for International Women's Day, week, month, 3 month, whatever? What do you think? 0191 488 3188. Time for a piece of music. But first, let us talk to one of the sexiest human beings in the world of rock, Paul Stanley of Kiss.
Fame, especially for a band of the status of Kiss, has its problems, as we've noticed just before coming into the interviews. You know, carloads of people chasing you around towns and what have you.
Some people may think that's a problem. To me, that's part of what makes it so great.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that the fans care enough to show up at the radio station and show up at the hotel means that we're doing something right. Yeah. I really wouldn't want to be one of those bands where, you know, the fans go, the fans say, well, these guys are okay, you know, maybe I'll go see them. Yeah. That's not, we put out so much energy and put out so much effort that I think it's kind of what we expect from our fans too. Get from them, they understand what we're doing. It's, you know, there's kind of lackadaisical kind of passive kind of fans. That's not really what we were ever interested in. So people chasing us or people coming over to the car, I've always got time to sign autographs. Those are the people that make us what we are.
Yeah. Does it never get you down, though, at any time?
No. No. I have very few downs in my life.
Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And you got a second clue coming at you very, very soon too. Now, talking about holidays we got into early doors, where do you want to go? Why do you want to go there? What's so special about it? Where's the best place you've ever been? Where's the worst? What kind of holiday hells have you suffered? And what kind of holiday heavens? I always think that if you go on a trip anywhere that you've never been before, there will be some bucket list thing that you should tick while you're in that particular place. We did some shows in the Caribbean, and the one thing, it was dead simple as well. Parascending, that was pretty cool. Even though I landed in the sea and I can't swim, the going down bit was a little bit tricky, but then again, let's face it, it usually is. And the other thing was just to lie in a hammock between two palm trees. Now, you can do that in the north of Scotland if you know the right places, but so what bucket list things have you managed to kind of tick, or do you plan to tick over the next year or so? Sometimes holiday heaven, other times holiday hell. So was she actually on the beach that day?
Well, she went on the beach. They had a drink and then they went on the beach because it happened like 12 o'clock our time.
Right.
She said that it was quite, people were laughing and drinking and she says we thought it was firecrackers.
Right, yes.
She says our partner seen this bloke walking up with a big umbrella.
Right.
And he threw the umbrella away and he opened fire with
the gun. So they actually saw the guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, they were more or less back because the beach was packed.
Right.
So they were like near the hotel.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody shouted that it's gunfire and they all ran. But you see, she's seen a couple of people fall, which they must have been hit. But
so what did she do then?
Well, they ran back into the hotel.
Right.
They had a lockdown.
Right.
She says people were hiding. Some people were going in the offices behind the reception and the dining room and everything. They were just running anyway. But her and her friend's husband and her partner, they went into their room.
Right.
They went straight up to their room.
Because that was the hotel that had the grenade thrown in the...
Yes,
in the reception area.
Yes, But Alan, I spoke to her on FaceTime when I seen it on the news, and she was just so upset because her son, my grandson, he was down the road in another hotel with his girlfriend, and she got back today, but he's coming back tomorrow. They're getting him home. He's just so traumatized.
How about that? You go on a dream holiday to Tunisia in 2015 and the gunman walked along the beach. So even the dream can suddenly turn. Blame me. You guys have experienced everything. That's why I want to hear from you. Give me a call. Now, let's head across to Eileen, who's in Bedlington, which is coincidental. She says she's a care worker, and she sent a text just a few moments ago, I think it's the same lady, saying we care workers aren't going to get any kind of pay rise. Hi, Eileen.
Hiya.
Hello, and absolute respect for what you do too.
Thank you very much.
But you must feel, every news programme you look at's talking about the poor nurses not getting, what they deserve, the thing that was promised by government. We're going to look after you. We're going to make sure you're all right. And you're not even an afterthought.
No, that's very true. We're not.
So, you're also in a profession, though, that, unlike the nurses who could strike, there's nothing you can do because you're loyal to the people that you look after.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I would imagine, I don't want you to tell me how much you earn, but I would imagine it's not a lot of money. Can you manage on what you get? Because it's a heck of a tough job, and it involves absolutely the heart, what you do. So, I mean, how do you cope?
It is mentally draining, I must admit that. But it's very rewarding at the same time.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, you can get a lot of satisfaction out of your work, but you get a lot more if you know your bills are going to get paid.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm coping. It's been very hard, but I'm coping.
And yet there's never been any mention anywhere of increasing the amount of money that carers get. It's been the same for the longest time, hasn't it?
Aye, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Because if you weren't doing the caring, as you are, the cost of the government looking after the person that you're looking after in a hospital would be 3, 4, 5 times the amount of money that you're costing them. I just think they should look after you guys, because otherwise you'll say, okay, well, I'm not going to do it, and they're going to be stymied, aren't they?
Exactly. Many a times I thought, shall I give in? And then I think, no, I can't, because they can't see their families. I'm the only one that goes in. Yeah. And it's really hard. But
I would imagine the people you look after, because you're in such close proximity, they'll become friends very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And can you walk away from a friend? And I think that's what the government know. They know that'll happen, and they take it for granted that you guys aren't going to kick off and you're not going to do anything because you're so loyal and loving towards the people that you're giving day-to-day care.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just treat them like they're my little nana and my little granddad.
Right, that's lovely. Lovely way to put it. But mind you, I bet there's sometimes you go home and cry because if you can't help them, or if they're in an awful lot of pain, especially through the whole lockdown business when you didn't have easy access to doctors and such, I bet that was tough on you, I bet.
It is. It's really tough, and they keep saying to me, will you take that mask off because I can't hear you?
Right.
And it's like, it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Because you say, no, you can't take it off, but they've got like dementia.
Right.
And you try to explain to them that you can't take your gloves off, you can't take your mask off. And it's like really, really hard. Some days I come home and cry.
I bet. And you see, it's the ones that aren't good at their job that don't. That's usually how you can tell. I don't know how you manage. I don't know how you cope. And I had to look after my mum and dad very, very briefly. I mean, I'm talking a period of a few months. And I thought, well, to have to clean them and all the stuff that you would take as a matter of course, I don't know how you do it. I didn't just dislike it. I know it had to be done, and you do it with as much of a chirpy smile as you can, but I loathed it. I just really, really hated it. But it had to be done, and there was nobody else to do it. But I give absolute respect to you guys, because I think you're amazing. And thank you for what you do. I just wish that the thank you involved a few pieces of paper with a Queen's head on. That's what I wish for.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming on anyway, Aileen. Appreciate it. We appreciate what you do. Thank you, darling. Bye-bye. They're diamonds, these people. They're absolute diamonds. And most of them do it because, well, nobody else will do it, and who else is going to look after it if it wasn't me? And I think the government, whoever's in, take absolute advantage of these people, and it's just very sad. We got Suka from Ashington. Let's head in that direction. Hello, Suka.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate. What can we do for you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on this show.
No problem.
I just want to say a shout out to all the key workers that have been working through this pandemic. They're doing a fantastic job, and they really do deserve more than a 1% pay rise, which I think is completely shocking,
It was built up, it was one of those things, and I know Boris has never been good with numbers, as we will remember, but when he says, we're going to look after you, it might not be quite yet, but we're going to make sure that if you were a nurse and you've gone through everything that they've gone through, and now's the time that they're going to see a little bit of a reward for all of that extra effort, that's just like a smack in the face, isn't it?
100%, I agree with you. You know, like same with businesses and due to COVID as well. You know, there's a lot of businesses closing down due to COVID as well.
For sure.
You know, me being a business owner myself, I've got 2 bars in Ashington.
Right.
Shout out to the Motorman in the Central.
Right.
In Ashington.
Yeah.
So obviously we've been closed for nearly a year now.
How have you, like you see, how come you haven't got for sale signs all over those places? Because obviously entertainment business, pretty much everybody I know has either lost their job or they've been put on furlough, and you just kind of know they're not coming back. How have you managed?
Well, I've got the savings. I took out one of the bounce back loans as well, which is a government scheme which helped out, which is a good thing. The government's trying to help with, you see. And I've also got the backing of my family as well if I ever needed financial support.
Yeah, I mean, the loan's very nice, but you still got to pay it back from...
You
don't know where that...
In the future, I've got to pay it back.
But you don't know when you're going to have enough business to even start thinking about that.
No, that's right. So we don't know what it's going to be like for when we're open. But it's obviously, as I said, on course at the minute to open in May for myself.
Yeah.
But pubs with beer gardens are going to be able to open in April.
12th of April, yeah.
Yes, 12th of April, yes. So that's the majority of them are going to be Wetherspoons, you know?
Right. So in other words, they're giving
bigger businesses
preference to the big names.
They are. I personally believe that's obviously because Tim Martin himself is good friends with Boris Johnson. You know, It's all about who's your friend, who has friends in high places. You know, makes a massive difference.
And I would imagine that probably Boris doesn't do a lot of hanging out in Eshy. That's a fact. So no, but I mean, how can you do anything about that? Do either of your premises have a garden or an area or a marquee stand that you could get cracking on?
See, we'll have a small beer garden, but to be honest, I would rather everything. The COVID rates decreased a lot before I reopen.
Right.
You know, we don't know what measurements are in place and stuff. At the end of the day, the customers are still got to come inside to use the toilet facilities.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't understand how we're going to get around that.
No, I don't, unless you got lots of bushes. I don't understand it either. It just seems that a lot of pubs and a lot of bars, I mean, previously put in like plastic flexi screens in between tables and curtains and all kinds of different gadgets to try and come up to the government's, rulings. And even then, they still shut them down. So all of that money seems to be pretty much an absolute waste. So hopefully, May, June, I would imagine there'll be a drinking... I mean, I know Ashington well, and there's going to be a drinking frenzy up there, isn't there, when the doors open finally?
Well, that's what we're hoping for. So there'll be an influx of a lot of revenue. If you do come to Ashington, don't forget to come to the Motorman in the Central.
Well, I have to now. I've got to stay loyal to my crew. Absolutely. No, it's great. I love Ashington. Ashington's one of those places that when the first time that I went, and it was donkeys years ago when I was doing DJ work up there, and somebody said to me, a lot of clubs in Ashington, and I thought, how many? 7? 8, and there was something like 140 odd clubs for Ashington, little Ashington. More clubs, and they only had about 4 pubs at the time. It was amazing the amount of party folk they've got in that vicinity, and everybody comes from the smaller villages in to do the thing too. But no, good luck. I hope it comes off for you. How have you kept your staff though? I mean, are they furloughed?
I've furloughed my staff. You see.
Right.
Because I've got good staff, hard-working staff.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't want to do what Wetherspoons did, was just obviously they cut them off and they said go find work elsewhere. I didn't want to do that. I furloughed my staff.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's good. Good of you to do that. So presumably, once you get back, you're going to sell so much beer. You're going to buy some more bars in Ashington. You sound like this is the future for you. You're going to become one of these megalomaniacs who own huge lumps of Northumberland.
Well, I hope so. You know, I'm going to aim for the city centre of Newcastle. So if you know any going,
Hey, well, you take it all away, man. It says here you go. Edwin says, well done to the lad from Ashington for not wanting to open until the COVID's up. Thank you, mate. There you go. So people appreciating the extra yard you're going. Suka, thank you very much for coming on, man. Good to hear from you.
Thanks very much for having us on, mate.
Keep me posted as well. And if you want to give the bars a plug once the doors are open invitation. All right, man?
Thank you, mate.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye. Ashington, you say? Oh, blimey. Ashington hosts Central Club. Got some happy memories of there. And the Premier Club. It's one of my favourite Ashington stories. Tried to find the Premier Club in Ashington, and I ended up driving up and down the street that it was supposed to be on without finding it. And there was a guy sitting at a bus stop, and I pulled over and I said, "Excuse me, mate, can you tell me where the Premier nightclub is?" And he says, and forgive me accent, Ashington. He went, Premier? I live near Premier up here. Premier? No. And then behind his head, on the first floor, I saw a sign that said Premier nightclub. It wasn't on the ground floor, it was upstairs, which is why I hadn't spotted it. And I went, "Oh, you dafty, look, there it is." And he turned around and he went, "That's not the Premier, that's the Premier." It was the Premier Club. Of course, silly me. 0191 488 3188. Christine is with us, and she is in Wallsend. Hello, Christine.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, darling. What can we do for you tonight?
Yeah, it's about the first place you want to go after lockdown.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you fancy?
Well, I've never been on holiday before, so holidays is, I'm not really bothered about that, but I just wanted to get out of the house. So, just somewhere to go, like museums. I'm missing going to museums.
All right. Oh, so you go to a lot of museums, do you?
Yeah, I love museums. I love history and.
All right. Yeah. Oh, well, there's a few kicking about. I mean, if you come into Newcastle Centre as well, you've got the Hancock Museum with all the animals and stuff, and they've got a mummy in there and all kinds of things, and you got the Discovery Museum, which is a belter. You got a few to choose from. Leonard Gallery's pretty nice too.
Yeah, I've often been to them, and sort of South Shields that are here. And
yeah.
It's just I've been stuck in nearly a year. I'm just sick of sort of looking at these walls, you know.
It's exactly what I was saying, and it doesn't matter how nice I've got the house lovely, or I've got the flat looking sparkly. It doesn't make any difference. You're banging your head off the wall after the amount of time you've spent in there. And there's only so much TV you can cope with. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I just had my birthday as well.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. But it would be nice to sort of celebrate it sort of properly.
Yeah, no,
absolutely. Even days just going and sitting in my car, you know, eating a McDonald's, anything just to get out.
I know a lot of people that have done that, and they've said to their mate, "Oh, I'm going to nip up for it," and it could be McDonald's or Kentucky Fry, you know, whichever one of your choice. And there's a dozen, Burger King, and go to a lot of different ones. And they go to the car park, and they go at the quiet end, and they park about 3 cars apart with a window open, and have that long conversation. "Are you all right?" "I am fine." You know, the long distance conversation while they're down in their Big Mac or their chicken tenders, whatever it is they've gone for. But they'd rather do that than just not have any kind of contact at all. And then you're not close enough to cause each other any bother.
No.
I don't think anybody can point a finger too bad at that. But just trying to find ways to work within the rules.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll get out and you'll be able to experience lots of other walls, and hopefully the museums have had plenty of time to dude themselves up and make them look sensational for you when the time comes. Are you not a big one for going down the coast or anything? Because you're not very far away of being in Wallsend.
Yeah, but my son was a volunteer at the Old Lowlight Heritage Centre.
All right.
Fish Quay.
Yeah.
So when I used to sort of go down and just get fish and chips at Sunday Beach when he was at work, and you know.
But you see, even that sounds pretty damn sexy right now, doesn't it? Sit on the beach, a nice hot sunny day, and get harassed by seagulls. Oh, I could cope with that, definitely. Because the seagulls down Shields, they're something to contend with. If they can't pick up your supper, they'll pick you up.
Yeah.
Some of them, they're big enough for that, for sure. Hey, well, Christine, thank you for coming on, darling, and I hope that you get back to your museum soon and enjoy. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Cheers, darling. Bye-bye. She lovely. You see, stuff going on. And what about raids? We've had nobody mentioning raids yet.
We took it to Flamingo Land, my husband, and I took me I had 2 children at the time, Anthony and Natalie, and Mum hadn't been on anything.
So I said, do you fancy going on the ghost train? The ghost, go on the ghost train. Well, it was Thunder Mountain, wasn't it?
Oh, my, that's not a ghost train.
Well, I know. Bearing in mind, I think she was about 65, something like that. So, we'll get some Thunder Mountain. Well, if you've never heard nothing like it in your life, the screams. We took her to the cafe just by the side. We got her a cup of tea in one of them polystyrene cups.
Yeah.
And she was whiter than the cup.
Bless. How about that? What about your stories of, do you do the whole theme park thing, or do you like those mad rides? Tell me everything. It's what we're talking about. When you break free, what are your priorities? 0191, apart from staying safe. 0191 488 3188. Let's go to Otterburn. We got Malcolm there. Hi, Malcolm.
Hello.
Hello, sir. What can we do for you tonight?
Right. I don't know if you've seen the advert for the Freestyle Libre 2 on the TV.
I haven't. Tell me more about it.
All right. It's a new blood machine with a sensor on.
Right.
Guess what? I've got the first person of the Northeast, so I've been told by Newcastle hospitals.
Wow. So how does it work then? What do they have to do to you to make it happen?
Well, they've got a new sensor coming.
Right.
And it comes through prescription.
Uh-huh.
I haven't actually got the full part yet.
All right.
But I got the letter a few weeks back now.
Uh-huh.
And from the hospitals, and a new machine, and it's all like sends digital technology into the diabetes team.
Brilliant.
And Freestyle Libre 2. Now, it's advertised on, as I say, on ITV.
Right.
This week.
Uh-huh.
So it's all brand new system, but it's coming from Birmingham.
Right. And were you on in particular need of this?
I do the yes. So I'm all for the NHS to get more, like a bigger pay rise.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I've seen a fair share of them.
And how have they treated you?
Okay.
Good.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Back to the diabetes thing. So, I've got this new Freestyle Libre 2, and I see it is advertised on the telly.
Yeah, you mentioned. Uh-huh.
And it's all brand new system, like. So
what does it do, though? I mean, what does it actually do for you?
A handpiece I can scan this app, this sensor, tells the blood counts. So,
So you don't need to get progged?
No.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm cutting away with that.
That's great.
I've been told I'm the first in the Northeast.
Yeah. You're obviously a superstar and a very important person.
Yes. I thought I was just wondering if there's any more diabetics heard of this.
Right. Well, I must admit that I haven't, but it's great to know. And the other reason you rang, of course, was to brag that you were the first. And I've been
told from Newcastle hospitals.
I don't blame you.
I tried to ring ITV the other day, but there was no answer.
Oh, because they're all working. They're all working from home at the minute. That's the thing. Even the journalists.
An answer to any of them.
No, not at all. Well, you got through to me, Malcolm. So there you go.
Aye, I thought so.
Score.
You've been media.
Score one for Otterburn. Get in there. The first one goes to Otterburn, and well done.
It's definitely a brand new Freestyle Libre 2.
Gotcha. On television. You've told me 4 times now. Thank you very much. We understand and we're proud of you. Thank you very much. Let's move on and talk to Charlene Spiteri of Texas about meeting her great idol.
It's nice when people come up to you and they say, well, I love your music, or I saw you in concert, wherever, and everything. That's kind of cool. It takes a lot of bottle to go up to somebody and say, I like something you did. I've done it myself with people.
Yeah.
And,
who'd you do it with?
I've done it with lots of people. I've gone up to, chatted with Bob Dylan and people like that, and said, you know, you've been really influential in my music. And the one person, I'll tell you who actually is the one person I kind of went, you know, I end up having a conversation. I've met loads of people and I've had really interesting conversations with them, and they have been influential in my music, but I've never ever been like but there was only one person actually that did happen with, and it was actually Kate Bush.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of those really weird situations. It's quite a surreal, I hope nobody thinks I'm being a big shot by telling this story, but it was one of those funny things where it was Elton John that introduced me, and he said to me, "Oh, Charlene, you know Kate?" I thought he was talking about Kate Moss, who's like a mate of mine, and I was like, yeah, I turned around and I swung around, and it was Kate Bush, and I love Kate Bush. I mean, I absolutely love Kate Bush, right? And I was a wee bit like, my voice went up about 3 others. I was like, Kate Bush! It was one of those moments. And I was like, oh my God. I was kind of a bit like, I love you, you're amazing, you're fantastic. I went into one of those, it's the first time I've ever done that, and I was really a bit starstruck.
Well, it's honest.
Well, she's just not really somebody that you see about, and she's not somebody that you hear a lot about, or you know, you run into her. Or, you know, in all the years I've been doing music, there's always moments where you run into people, or you've done TV with them, or you've done you've done festivals with them, you've been in their company, whatever. Never a Kate Bush. I've never seen Kate Bush in my life, and that was when I met Kate Bush. I was a wee bit in awe.
City still have an 11-point lead at the top of the Premier League, and manager Pep Guardiola doesn't want their recent form overlooked.
We lost, and it will be the news. But the news is 21 victories in a row. This is the news. This result is going to help us a lot to understand how difficult it is. We knew it, but sometimes you have to not win one game to realize.
Elsewhere, Liverpool lost 1-0 to Fulham, Tottenham thrashed Crystal Palace 4-1, and West Brom drew 0-0 with Newcastle. And Rangers are Scottish champions for the first time in 10 years, after Celtic failed to beat Dundee United. From Sky News, I'm Tim Jones.
Cheers, Tim. Alan Robson with you. Greatest Hits Radio. Thank you very much for joining in and taking part. And for those of you that watch, this coming Thursday at 9 o'clock, I've got a bit of an announcement. It's a tease, but I'll give you an idea of what we're doing. Live on Facebook this Thursday, 9 p.m. Tell you a little bit about what I've got planned and see if you're up for it, because it's also going to be on YouTube, Facebook and YouTube, and we could do with your help. Ultimately, not at the moment, but we're going to set it up and get ready for it. And hope it's something that you want to get involved with. Well, we'd love to think that is the case. Time for your second clue. Now, remember, you could win. You could get one of these, a Night Owl's mug, and you also get some of. I found some more of Sue's jewellery, so you can. That goes in the cup, like a tea bag, and it's yours. Lego Man says, I hope it's spooky related. Absolutely it is, yes. So, right, the 4 clues. Here's your first 2. 50% done already. Clue 1, a posh name for a big tent. A posh name for a big tent. Second clue, when owls fly. When is it? When owls fly. It's a greatest hit by Jerry Rafferty. When owls fly. When is it, according to Jerry Rafferty? 2 clues down, 2 more clues to come, and lots of people to talk to, including Brian, who's up that hill in concert. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm all right. What's happening in your world then, Brian? What's happening up there where the air is thin?
Well, it's lovely, man. It's lovely and cold, just the way you'd want it.
Lovely. Well, I mean, let's face it, it's winter there till about August, isn't it?
Well, we've had snow in June, and, you know, you don't forget seeing snow in June, especially when it was lying on the ground and you're sledging in it.
Hey, but I respect to you. I love concert folk. So tell me, what can we do for you tonight? What are you talking about?
I've got a holiday story that's a ghost house as well.
Oh, fantastic. Tell me more.
Well, I worked in the retail trade in antiques and jewellery for years.
Uh-huh.
And a customer, she came in once and she says, I've got this house in Cornwall. And any time you want to go by all night, just feel free. and you can have a free holiday. And I was like, well, get on, we'll do that, like.
Yeah.
So that summer we decided to go down to Cornwall, and we went down in the cars, and when we got there, we just travelled around, and the first night we were there, we decided, well, we took the Ouija board with us. Well, we've always done the Ouija board.
Right.
And on that basis, I mean, a lot of people say don't do it. Well, don't. If you don't know what you're doing, just don't do it.
Right.
But we years ago, we contacted Abdul Omar, King of the Gypsies. So anybody knows anything about him, I'd be interested.
Right.
But when we got down there, we got the Ouija board out, and within like 10 minutes, and we've never been scared of ghosts, never been scared of doing anything.
Right.
My mother does the tarot cards, I do the dowsing and all sorts. We're all a very spiritual family, if you know what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Within 10 minutes, it's like, let's pack this up. This is dangerous.
So what happened then?
I mean?
What was so severe then?
Well, it always talking about death and murder and everything. And it's like, whoa, hold on a minute. You know what I mean? So it just got very, very dark very, very quickly. And it's like, we need to get away from this. This is too bad.
Right.
And you know, when you are spiritual, you get a feeling, and it's like, I've walked into rooms that I've got to run out of. You know what I mean? It's like, this is nasty.
Did you get any story from, the person who said you can go down for a free holiday? Did you ever find out any story about the place you were in?
Well, I did, and I'll tell you about it. When we got there, we'd done the Ouija board, and we decided to pack it up. But, that night, my mother, being wise, she had a look around, and she picked the bedroom right next to the bathroom, saying, I'll have this bedroom. This one's mine, and that's fine. She had a little dog with a little Yorkshire Terrier. It never, ever left her side.
Right.
And for the whole 10 days we stayed in that house, it never went in that bedroom. Now, it used to sleep with us because it just would not sleep in that room. It wouldn't go in that room. You couldn't carry it in the room. But anyway, every night, my mother, at 4 o'clock in the morning, she would hear a French clock. You know, the French clocks go ting, ting, ting.
Yeah.
And she heard that at 4 o'clock, dead on, and it would chime 4 o'clock exactly every morning.
Right.
Which is like, there wasn't a clock in the house. There was no clocks or anything anyway.
What the hell is that then?
Exactly. One night she was in the bath, right next to the bathroom's right next to it. She's sitting in the bath, and there was this great big massive rubber plant. And she's sitting in the bath, doing as you do in the bath. Yeah. And all of a sudden, this rubber plant just shook like something violent had getting a hold of it. And we just carried on with our holiday, Well, we just know there's nothing there that can hurt you, so don't worry about it, It's scary, but it can't hurt you.
Right. Cheapest.
And so anyway, when we'd first getting there, we bought a sack of potatoes, and there was a fish and chip shop across the road.
Right.
Well, there was like 8 of us in the house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we bought half a sack of tatties left at the end of the holiday. I carried us across the road and says to the bloke, do you want these tatties? And he says, no, I'll get them already chipped. Are you from that house across the road? And I says, oh, yeah, well, I was having a holiday there. And he's like, how are you still there? I said, well, yeah, it's haunted, but it's all right. He says, haunted? He says, somebody came to stay there a while ago, and on the very first night, the woman came running out, screaming, and she was totally naked. She was running down the street naked, saying she wouldn't go back in.
Wow.
So, I mean, haunted houses, there's nothing can hurt you. I love going to old castles and places like that.
Yeah.
Because, to be fair, if you get a feeling about things, well, you're going to feel it.
Mm.
You're going to really feel it.
Mm.
But at the same time, there's nothing that can hurt you.
Well, you say that, but I've been on a few where people have been really badly hurt. I mean,
you can be bruised, you can be injured, but nothing hurts. I've seen bruises appear on people. You know what I mean? I've just been standing there.
And
something's getting a hold of them, and there's nothing there.
And scratches as well. But no, a colleague of mine was pushed down a flight of stairs and ended up in Ashington Hospital for 8.5 weeks, broken ribs, punctured lung, fractured neck and stuff. So, I mean, when you say nothing bad can happen, well, it can on occasions. It's rare.
It can, yes. Something like that can happen.
You never know. Hey, but it sounds like you're really balanced about it. How were you told about it when you were a little lad? How come you're so calm about it all?
Well, when I was about 9 or 10-year-old, my mother got right into doing the Ouija board, and she never knew any rules about it or anything. If you want to do it, please look up the rules first. But she never done anything like that. She's always been a spiritual person. Picked up the Ouija board and let's have a go.
Right.
And so me and my sister, we used to have to write down for her. She would sit and do the Ouija on her own, and we would be writing for her.
Right.
And between the two of us, we couldn't write fast enough for how fast it went when she was talking to this Abdul Omar.
Right. So you want to find out if anybody knows anything about the man. You'd be interested in that. Hey, well, it's all good stuff, Brian. Blimey, how long did it take you to drive down to Cornwall? That's about as far as you can go without falling in the water.
Well, it's about as far as you can go without falling asleep.
You can believe that, man.
It took about 5 or 6 hours each way.
Right. Oh, wow.
And that's the drive, and that's not stopping for an hour here and there. You know what I mean?
Well, you'd have to do that just to keep your wits about you. Hey, but good call, Brian. Thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you, Alan.
Top job. Bye. There you go. You see, not everybody has the willies put up, and some people are that calm. I always find it's the calm ones that are prone to get the biggest surprise when something major happens, though. 0191 488 3188, but he sounds very balanced with it. Let's go to Lowfell in Gateshead, where we find Kay. Hello, Kay.
Hi, Alan.
Hello there. So you got a holiday,
Hello.
bit of a holiday story for me, I gather.
Oh, me and Jim's always we're going to have about 3 holidays a year, me and him. So it's been really, since nobody go on holidays and visit places, we haven't really done anything
You've been
this year.
tied down, so you're set to explode, are you?
Well, we've booked something for November, hoping that everything's going to be back to normal then.
November's not a bad shout, because in America they're talking about, by May, because they're dishing out 2 million injections a day in the States, so they're really rocking on at the moment. I mean, it's a huge place. But they're talking about May, and they started after us. So I think November's a pretty good shout. Where are you off to?
I want to see your friends in Portugal.
Oh, wow, that'll be beautiful. Right.
Yeah.
Well, whereabouts in Portugal?
We'll go to Algarve.
Algarve, best bit.
My friend's got a restaurant.
Right. Free nosh as well. That's pretty good. Good steer. Have we got any friends that have got a restaurant? Yeah, well, go and stay with them.
Can I promote it? It's called the Little Britain.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. Oh, I hope people aren't sick. You know that thing on Little Britain TV programme. Oh, we don't want to think about that. But how nice. The Algarve, and it'll be sizzle. Even in November, it's bright and sunny in the Algarve.
We went in December once, and we left here. That was it, and then we got there. And then when we left there to come back again, we left there at 25 degrees.
Yeah.
We flew into Newcastle Airport -6.
That's why we're made of hardy stuff, you see. That's it. That's when you don't have an option. You've got to be, haven't you? That's great.
But what I did want to say about this holiday that me and Jim went on, it was a nightmare.
Oh, what was it? What happened?
Well, because Jim likes Spain. He likes going on the train line, and we follow the train line. So if I book something, we'll go on the coast. I book near the train line, and then we just jump the train every day, like Barcelona or whatever.
Brilliant, yeah.
Anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
And we ended up, I booked a holiday for Lorette de Mar.
Right.
And of course, the flight was delayed, so it meant that we didn't get there till on time at night. And then we got the bus. When you get on the bus, and then it pops you off.
And if it's delayed as well, everybody's just rattled and ratty.
Yeah. So they just dropped it off somewhere random, and it's pitch black.
Yeah.
And said, "Get off here," and it's up there. So it's as the case says.
In the pitch black, it's up there in the dark. Right.
And there was a note on the door: "Ring this phone number." So we rang the number. Took him ages to come, and then when he came, the first thing he said to us was, "And €250." Well, it wasn't even on the itinerary that you had to pay a deposit.
Right.
So, of course, me being me, I said no. I said, I'm not paying this. He went, well, if you're not paying it, you're not getting the key. And I think he thought, seeing that I would give him the money, and I didn't. I said, no. I said, I'm not giving you it.
Right.
I said, because it wasn't in the small print. It wasn't anywhere where you could see like, oh, and it's a 250 deposit when you get there, and so I just refused to pay it. So he wouldn't give with the key, and he drove away.
Right.
So I was stranded with the cases. And I said, well, there was a hotel down there, and there was a light on. I said, we'll just go there.
Right.
And see if we can stay there for tonight.
Unbelievable, though.
So, of course, we walked down, and he said, well, where were you supposed to be staying? And we told him what apartments it was. Well, they must all know each other.
Yeah, but...
And he goes, well, I'm not going to give you a room. He says, I'll ring him, see if he's going to come back.
Right.
And I thought, right. So he rang him. He refused to come back. So he said to her, now I can give you a room for tonight. Because he'd already asked him if he was going to come back, and he said no. So
just for a night, though. So you go there, you can't even unpack, you can't even get settled. Oh, dear.
So he gave her the room for the night. But do you know what, Alan? It was the best thing ever because, I mean, we carried the cases around for the next morning, and I just went on booking.com and I just kept looking to see what was available.
Uh-huh.
And so instead of giving him €250 deposit,
I get it. Yeah.
we ended up getting a lovely 4-star hotel for 4 nights for €200.
Oh, that's pretty good. 50
and that was
50 a
like,
night.
well,
Wow.
I would rather pay that for that than give him.
Oh, he didn't deserve your money at all. Not at all.
Well, I think it was his attitude as well.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't very nice, you know.
And I do understand, okay, the flight was delayed. He's had to get out of bed probably to come down and sort you out. And he just seemed he wasn't remotely concerned about how unpleasant that had been for you when it was your dream holiday kind of thing. He just wanted cash. He's in the industry where the customer's always right and he or she's there to be pampered, and he didn't have the right attitude for that at all, did he?
Oh, no, totally not. I mean, it was just like pitch black. And plus, we'd never had like holidayed there before.
Right.
Like we'd been along the coast all the time, you know, like but I'd never actually been to there. So I was like, well, we're just sort of like, well, where do we go now? You know?
This is the thing. I got caught in a very similar one. I visited Athens, you know, in Greece, and it's on the mainland. And my flight was delayed, and I didn't get into Athens till 3:20 in the morning. And I'd booked a hire car to come to the hotel at 8 o'clock the next morning. Well, I didn't get to sleep till about 5:20, you know, by the time you've checked in and you've got your bags and you've been to the loo and all the stuff that you do. And the phone rang in the room. Oh, there's a guy here with a car for you. I didn't know where the hell I was. So I pulled a pair of pants on in a shirt and walked down looking like something out of Miami Vice, not on purpose, just because my hair was all over the place.
Yeah.
And the guy says, there's your keys. And I said, okay. And I thought, well, he's parked it outside the hotel. I can now go back, get a bit more sleep, get up, have a bath, sort myself out, get ready for my holiday. And he says, oh, but by the way, I've parked it on a one-way street at the top of the hill, so you're going to have to drive it round the main motorway and back into the street to park it. Now, I didn't know what the street was, let alone the motorway. And when you get on the motorway, it's 8 lanes. You've got, and I can't speak Greek, obviously, so you cannot follow roads. It took me about 2.5 hours with my eyes as wide as doorstops, panicking, knowing, do I get off here? Do I get off here? And I drove round and round and round until eventually, purely by luck, I ended up back on the same street and parked the car up. And when I stopped, my hands were shaking. I need a drink. Get back. So that whole thing in the middle of the night, though, especially first thing in the morning, and you're a bit jet lagged, you don't know where you are. Nightmare, all of that. But hey, you fell on your feet, though. 4-star luxury, that's pretty good.
It is. It was lovely,
Pretty special.
But I just thought of another little story I can tell you, and this is terrible.
Yeah.
This is really terrible, and I'm not going to mention the airline because it's absolutely terrible, right?
Right.
So me and Jim always sit at the back of the plane when we go on holiday. I always book the seats right at the back.
Why? Is it because if your plane crashes into a mountain, it's going to hit nose first?
No, it's because Jim doesn't like people kicking them in the back.
Oh, I see, right.
Like behind.
Gotcha.
So we always sit right at the back.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sitting at the back. You can imagine you're sitting there, your lights are on, asking you to belt up, ready for takeoff.
Yeah.
And the engines start going. So we're sitting there. Then all we heard was like this knocking on the plane door, at the back door, as if somebody was knocking on the door to get in. But there was, because they'd left this lady in a wheelchair on the top of the stairs.
Oh, no.
And she was still there, and they'd locked the plane up and everything. Your lights were on, belt up, and...
Oh, what a shit. Hello. Oh, what a But, I mean, if the plane had pulled away, she could have fell off and...
Well, exactly. It was just... But I think because of the kind of person that she was very demanding, this lady. And I think the people probably just got fed up with her. Because, I mean, she said to Jim when we got off at the other end, she's going, right, so you're going to phone this number for me and you're going to get me a taxi. She was like, she wasn't even saying, would you give us some help, you know?
No, please, or thank you. Just taking it for granted.
Like, right, well, you need to do this for me and you need to do this for me. And I mean, he did it, we said. No wonder they left her on the stairs.
No, but this is it. I've seen, and this is, and I don't know whether people use this as an established airline kind of trick, but you know how in airports sometimes you'll hear like a beepy noise, and you've got like a mobile cart, and sitting on the back of the cart, there's somebody who you presume must be like difficult on their feet or maybe in a wheelchair or something. So they sit them on the back of this cart and they take them to the terminal, and they let them off and put them on a wheelchair. Then they wheelchair them to the plane and help them up the stairs to get into... Now, if your legs are dodgy, I absolutely understand. Get it. I watched this woman, and the only reason I know this was because it was a flight I was on. We were doing some show on one of the Caribbean islands for a week to win a holiday for you guys. And this woman whizzed past me, and I think it was Heathrow Airport, went past me all the way up to the gate, and she was sitting there when I got, and she gets off this trolley thing, and she's sitting down. Then the plane arrives. She gets a wheelchair to the plane, and obviously if you're in a wheelchair, you get on first.
Yeah.
Because they always call people, people with any kind of need, get them on first. At the other end, didn't call for a wheelchair. Just got up, danced down the steps, walked healthier than anybody I've ever... And it was just all a ruse just to get on the plane first. And
yeah,
are you cheeking out? I mean, I can't believe the gall of some people to be able to do that. Hey, the world's full of weird ones. But,
it is.
Kate, go on.
Another story?
Oh, always. That's what I thrive on. Go for it.
This is another one.
Brilliant.
So me and Jim goes to France because his brother lives in France.
Right.
So we borrowed his car. I'm driving along, and we decided, we'll go to Montmorillon.
Right. Brilliant.
But when we got there, I opened the car door, and all you heard was this massive hiss, like a...
Right.
Well, the tyre had gone flat.
Oh, not good. Right.
And I'm in France. And I mean, you get by, but you can't speak French, and I didn't know what to do. And Jim was saying, well, I tell you what, he says, we'll just leave it and we'll sort it out when we come back. But I saw this bloke, and I'm trying to talk to him in French, going like, oh, monsieur, my tyre blown, like, kaput. And he was from Yorkshire. He was a tyre fitter.
Hey!
And he fixed the car. I was just like, that you couldn't write it.
Fantastic.
So there's me going, and monsieur, and I can't speak French, and the tyre, and he went, hey up, and...
You're going kaput. Like, chuck a bit of German in for good measure, why don't you?
But Brilliant. He just went, he goes, I'm tyre fitter. He says, and he got his stuff out the boot, and he just done it.
So what did he do? He put some stuff in the tyre?
No, it was, is it like the valve?
All right. Oh, right.
So he blew it up, and he said he fixed the valve, and he went, there you go.
What's the chances?
I know.
What's the chances of that? It's fantastic.
Yeah, we've got loads of stories like that, man. It's just like crazy.
It's great.
We've got a crazy life.
Thank heavens for it, Kay. I hope you get it back soon and you can have a couple of lovely escapes. Thank you for sharing anyway. All the best,
See you
Kay.
later.
Thank you,
Bye.
darling. Bye-bye. The thing is, it's what I've always said, and I know not everybody's able to travel, and I know some of you don't want to travel, and so many people now that can't afford even to think about travelling. If you can, always do it, because you learn so much about the world and you learn so much about people. And if you hang around the same people all the time, us, our lot, you think that, well, the whole world must be like this, and it isn't really. The whole world's full of lovely people that don't want to hurt you, don't want to cause you any problem, just want to get along and raise their kids and have a decent life themselves. And even in places where you would least expect that kind of thing. It's a real educational experience. The more you travel, the more you do genuinely learn about stuff. And it's really important, really important. I've learned so much from the travels I've been fortunate enough to go on. 0191 488 3188. A couple of things came in that I have to share with you. Mad Dog McNair says, I've watched loads of UFO files and released footage from the RAF and the government. I believe if we were told the truth about first contact, we as a race would go into total panic. Some religious beliefs would fail, and those that know the truth would be headhunted. By 2025, I'm sure the truth will come out and the human race will be more inclined to accept it. More and more are getting reported because more and more people are recording them on mobile devices. Paul Hellyer, the Canadian Defence Minister, has already tried to tell the truth on camera. Future news, you heard it first, from Mad Dog McNair. And Dave says, about the royal family, asked about, do you think that Meghan was right to be a bit of a whistleblower? I'm glad that Harry and Meghan have decided to speak up about the antiquated firm that is the royal family. This is what Diana had planned before her tragic accident. Surely more attention should be focused on the conduct of Prince Andrew. Epstein was disposed of very quickly. Diana the same. Must advise Harry and his wife to avoid driving through any tunnels soon. David in Cullercoats. Ooh, heavyweight. Let's go to Spennymoor. We've got Andrew there. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate. What are you talking about tonight?
That last thing you've just been on about there, what's coming next? The death of Meghan Markle.
Oh, blimey, I would hate to think so.
What do you think about it after what happened to Diane?
Well, I mean...
How did you get your way back?
Well, it depends what you believe. Some people say, oh, that's just conspiracy theory. It was a terrible accident, daddy-da. Or you go the other way. But I hope not. I saw Prince Harry on the James Corden show. I don't know whether you saw it. They took him on an open-deck bus.
I saw him when he was having his food on the top of a bus.
That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. That was quite funny. I loved the fact that when the food went all over the place, James Corden says, go on, Harry, clear it up. And he was picking up the plates and stuff. So absolute respect to the ginger one. Well done to him.
Different sort of a person, what he's been put out as.
Absolutely. I think it's because of his time in the forces. He's one of the lads, really.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Out of curiosity. Yeah. I'm going to go back on some old stuff.
Okay.
Right. Last Monday, the French Navy dropped off 70 refugees.
Right.
Down the Dover.
Uh-huh.
Now, one of them, I've got to laugh, but I don't. One of them had a broken leg.
Right.
And what's going on because the French Navy brought them to Dover?
Right. Well, you see, the
French Navy pick them up. You're supposed to take them back.
Well, it depends where they were. If they were kind of on the British side, do they not just take them to Britain? I don't know how it actually works if they're trying to get across. Because at one time the French had an informal agreement with Britain to say we'll keep them on the French side.
There's too many informal agreements.
Yeah, well, you see, if you have a deal, which Britain had with France about the EU and Europe and what have you, and then Britain says, well, we're going to scrap that deal, even though we've signed it, and legally they didn't have a foot to stand on. We're going to break that deal and we're leaving. We're going to do the Brexit thing. Well, then France says, well, all those deals about us keeping people in camps in France, why should we bother? It's cheaper for us just to say, on you go.
Why should we bother? It's the taxpayers that's having to pay for it. We all getting put into 5-star hotels.
Well, absolutely, but if we're daft enough to do it, people are going to want to come. The whole idea with France is we're not going to put you in a hotel. The best you can hope for is a camp. But why should they even pay for basic amenities in a camp when they don't want people there? They just say, if you want to get on the train, if you want to tootle across on a boat or a ferry, off you go. If you got to lay low, help yourself.
Out of reality, the army camp down Kent, they moved all them out because it was classed as illegal and inhumane. Now, if that's inhumane for them, it must have been inhumane for our own soldiers as well.
Well, it depends, you see. The British standard was it's not good enough. Britain should not treat people in that way, but Australia do it, Canada does it, France does it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that makes it right, just they do it. And obviously, if you go to Australia and you haven't got the right details, while they're sorting out whether you can stay, whether they're sending you back, they put you in a secure camp. You can't get out.
No.
You're monitored.
On a different bit,
Mm-hmm.
right, there's 5,000. There's a couple of subjects I've got.
Okay.
There's 5,000 containers full of our PIP gear.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Stranded around Britain.
Mm-hmm.
None of it's any good.
Right.
And what the hell's going on? Because you've got a Prime Minister, we were doing what we wanted. Hold up. Illegal contracts that you give out, nobody's answering to us.
Hmm.
You're just sitting back and you're laughing.
So what do you think should happen then? What do you think they should do?
Why, we were found guilty. If he should be prosecuted or something should happen because taxpayers' money, we're going to have to be paying for this for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a bit wrong because we just sitting back and you're laughing the backs off of you.
Right.
The alien one, I think we've had this one before. Durham Place has photographs of a spaceship over one of the fields.
Right. Uh-huh.
And that was around Spennymoor.
Why didn't it come out then? Why didn't they send it to the newspapers or stick it on the telly?
We've seen the photograph. I can't remember where, a couple of weeks back.
All right. Uh-huh.
And he had a photograph and it was took from a police car and the police officer took a photograph of the object.
Right. Wow.
So I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I'll have to have a look online. It'll be online somewhere. I'll have a look for it.
I've got a good one.
Okay.
Right. Boris.
Mm-hmm.
Can somebody tell me why we should have to pay 200,000 to do number 10 Downing Street to suit his missus?
Right. Well.
She's not the Prime Minister.
No.
And it's the taxpayers that's paying for it.
Mm-hmm. But isn't that what happens when, if I don't know what you would call her, a common law wife or a consort? I don't know what the official term is.
I've got my own words on her.
The equivalent. Steady now. Come on, be a gentleman. But whatever. Surely it's like when Trump was in office, they looked after Melania, and I would imagine probably cost them more than $200,000 for her.
Yeah, it depends.
Isn't it what you do with the equivalent of a first lady? You look after them in the same?
Yeah, but she's been a pain in the butt since she's arrived.
Well, she hasn't bothered me, but why does she bother you?
Who? Boris's missus.
Boris's lady.
Because everything that's happening, it's coming from her.
What, you think she's Prime Minister?
Why, she may as well be.
Right. Oh. Right. In my experience, there's usually a good woman behind most men, so... who knows? It's possible, I suppose.
Who knows?
Who knows? Anything else then, Andrew?
That's a good one. My head's gone empty.
No worries, but thank you very much for calling. He's brought all kinds of subjects in there. Do you think that she's really pulling the strings, that Boris is just her puppet? What do you think? 0191 488 3188. Let's have some more superstars for you. This time... it is no less a superstar band as Duran Duran. So what are you frightened of? You got any rational or irrational fears?
I don't like flying, particularly, which is...
blimey.
It's pretty. That's pretty tough when we fly like millions of miles every year.
Yeah.
But I'm actually obsessed with these documentaries. Where the flight goes wrong and it crashes. I'm quite obsessed with them. So I'm sitting on the airplane, and as soon as I feel a judder, I thought, oh my God, something's wrong. Oh my God, the engine's failing, or they've run out of fuel, like I saw in that documentary. It's called Flight Investigation.
Yeah, so late at night stuff. Yeah, mate.
So I just like frightening myself sometimes.
Okay.
God,
What
you're
about
such a
you?
baby. Well, about me, I'm more existential than that. I get really terrified at the thought of not having sex for 7 days.
Oh, you wouldn't want to be in my house, mate. You would be scared.
Yeah, you'd be cured pretty quickly.
This is Real Life Conversation with the voice of the North.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Call 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And we got Sue in Washington on the Night Owls. Hello, Sue.
Hello, Alan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you for calling. What's your subject tonight then, Sue?
Right, can I just ask, because the key rings and that I've sent you are what I've made.
Yes.
So the people who've won them in the competition, would they mind, telling you, letting us know what they feel about
What
them?
they think about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've had a few inquiries saying that people would like to know where they could get them from. So plug away.
Yeah, well, I've got a Facebook page.
Right.
And it's Sue Delightful. Oh, God, I've forgotten it now. I'm daft.
I'll tell you what,
aren't
but
I?
just give us a ring later and we'll put it out on the site so that people can go and have a
Okay.
look. That's easy.
All right, then.
No problem.
Anyway, you get, things happen. You always say, they always come in threes.
Always come in threes, especially threesomes. Yes,
Oh. Right. Anyway, it's happened to us this week.
Well, what's happened then? What, you had a threesome?
No, I wouldn't.
Going to say, that really is breaking the COVID regulations right there.
Well, I wouldn't have any energy to talk to you if I'd had a threesome. But anyway, so the day after Valentine's Day, my husband, because I was not being able to go out for walks and that because the pain and that in my hips and stuff.
Right.
So the walks were getting less and less, and if I tried to do a bit more, I'd just be in pain the next day.
Right.
So the day after Valentine's Day, my husband brought me my own set of wheels, so I've got a little scooter.
All right.
So that I can enjoy going out on the walk with him and the dog, And
That's good.
It's brilliant, and I've never been out of it since. But the other day, this is the first thing. The other day, the battery ran out.
Oh, dear.
On them, there's a little clip at the bottom of the scooter where you just click it and it'll just go on, so you can push it rather than use the battery. So, because I had to get out and try and hold the dog and try and walk, and no, that wasn't happening.
You should have tied the dog to it and whipped it like it was a dog sled. That would have
That's
got
what
you.
I was coming to. Yeah, I got back in and my husband was pushing and I had the dog on the lead, and she is only a little thing, but oh my God, she's got some muscle on her.
I bet.
And she really pulls, and this lady was laughing at us. I said, she's my little sledge dog. I'm going, go on, Ebony, go on. It was really funny.
So that was the first one. What happened next then?
Yeah. And then the second one was my tumble dryer. I've had it 2 years and just over 3 months, 2 years and 3 months. And, well, I thought it was the belt. So I went on the Washington Time and Wear group thing and said, can anyone recommend, anyone to fix it, And this bloke, they kept mentioning this person. He had his Facebook. So I give him a message and I showed him the pictures, and he said, please ring me straight back. And so I did, and he said, look, he says, don't use it. He says, it's not the belt from the drum. It goes around the door. It's a silencer, and it also catches like the material, like I forget what it's called now, the lint. Yeah, it catches that, you know.
Right.
And he says without that, it can cause a fire. So,
Just what you needed to know. I didn't know that tumble dryers had a silencer.
Nor did I.
Get the pee out, dry the pee out of your knickers quicker, but silently. I don't understand the need for silence in a tumble dryer. I thought that's what bounced around your kitchen or your utility room.
Well, it makes a noise when the belt on the drum goes. Because my last one, I cannot believe. I said.
So was it fixable? I mean, when you talked to this guy, could he fix it or what?
Well, he didn't know, but I'm waiting on because where we got it from. Can I say? Can I mention where I got it from?
Well, you can.
Curry's, PC World, and they're going to put it under because it had just gone out of warranty.
Right.
So they're going to put it under out of warranty repair.
Right.
So
That's nice. That's good.
Waiting for them to phone back.
Right.
I think that'll be tomorrow.
No, respect. That's very fair from Curry's. You didn't have to do that, but well done to them.
No.
So what's the third thing then?
And then the third thing was, oh God, early hours Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I mean, I think I just about drifted off nicely, and my daughter comes in. I can hear a beep, beep, and that was a really high-pitched beep. Well, she thought that was the gas boiler. So anyway, in the end, my husband was up, and they was trying to source out where this high-pitched noise.
From. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the fire alarm.
Right.
So,
right. Well, the smoke alarm, you mean? The smoke alarm.
Yeah, the smoke alarm.
Right.
The dog was going crackers because that was so high-pitched, she just didn't like it at all.
And I suppose that's the thing that comes on when your battery's dead and you just need to put a new battery in. Is that the...
Well,
right.
we thought that was the battery. My husband was on the stool trying to twist it and that, and in the end, because we're like in a housing association, so I had the phone out of hours, and I said, "Look, you're going to have to get something." The woman, she even made a joke, and I just couldn't be bothered to laugh because I was so tired. And she said, "Well, look, if your husband can get it off, can you not put it in the shed?" I said, "He's trying. He can't move it. He's twisting it and everything." She's going, "Well, is it a battery?" I said, "He can't get in it to see." I said, "You'll have to send someone out." Right. And she was just really getting me so frustrated because I said, he's up on the stool and he's trying to, do all sorts to get in it.
In fairness, I've done the same thing, and it was the battery. But to try, if it's the circular ones, they're really difficult. It says turn it, but it doesn't turn. It says push it, but you cannot push it. They're irritating little things, those battery things.
No, anyway, so I said, "Oh, look," because she said it again. She said, "Can you not put it in the shed?" I said, "Put what in the shed?" She went, "Well, the smoke alarm." She said, "Not the dog," and that was her little joke. I mean, I thought about it afterwards, but I just couldn't be asked.
No. So she wanted you to tear it off the ceiling and put it in the shed?
Well, that's what happened in the end. I said, "Oh, my husband's got it off." "Oh," she said, "take the battery out there." And I said, "He can't because it's hardwired."
It's hardwired. Oh,
yeah.
Blimey.
Yeah. So anyway, they came out in the end, and it was like 3:00 in the morning by the time we got any sleep.
What a clown. Hey, well, that is your 3 in a row. We'll find out if anybody else has had any. But Sue, thank you very much for sharing.
Thanks, Alan.
Hope you got some sleep. There you go. Things that come in threes. Any more tales to tell? Oh, the stars come in 3s and 4s on Night Owls. This is Bev Bevan, the drummer from Electric Light Orchestra and The Move. If you should care. Bev Bevan talking about, well, his health in general. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to the Bev Bevan body? Accidents, operations, screaming pain. What have you had?
The worst thing, that's a no-brainer, that one.
Yeah.
I was touring with ALO on the Time Tour, 81, a European tour.
Yeah.
Suddenly, out of nowhere, just doubled up. I was with Lou Clark, I remember, walking through in Frankfurt, and literally doubled up in the most astonishing pain. I've never felt anything like it, which I endured for about 3 or 4 days, had about 3 or 4 different diagnostic of different doctors saying what it was. They were all totally wrong. I eventually went home, and my own doctor said, "Oh, you've got kidney stones."
Oh, I've had them. They're
and
not
I've
funny.
never had pain like that.
They're not funny. Not funny at all. So I sympathise. I have been peeled off that wall too.
Next Sunday, which worries Labour MP Tulip Siddiq, who's campaigned on her behalf.
She was told you can have your ankle tag removed. She was very relieved. She was celebrating. And then she had an announcement. You have to be back in court next Sunday. My main worry is that it may be yet again fake charges, which gives her, let's say, another 5 years in prison. And that's what I'm worried about.
The UK has recorded another 82 coronavirus-related deaths, the first time the numbers dipped below 100 since October. More than 22.2 million people have had their first jab. After months of remote learning, students in England will return to schools and colleges today, the first stage of coronavirus restrictions being eased. The government's also looking at shorter summer holidays and lengthening the school day to help pupils catch up. Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah Winfrey is set to be the TV viewing appointment of the year, possibly the decade. Snippets released in the run-up to the highly anticipated broadcast in America have shown the couple have not held back in their criticism of the royal family. Sport: Rangers' 10-year wait to be crowned Scottish Premiership champions has finally come to an end. They've taken the title from rival Celtic after the holders were held to a goalless draw at Dundee United. These fans are relieved success has returned to Ibrox.
We finally get it done. We're so happy. We've been singing in the car, tunes on, flag out the window. He was crying. I had a few tears in my eye, yes. The trials and tribulations that we've been through, it's just amazing to get it over the line.
Meanwhile, some celebrations in Glasgow broke coronavirus lockdown rules and police have issued fines. Manchester City's 21-game winning run is over after the Premier League leaders were beaten 2-0 by Manchester United. Fulham beat Liverpool 1-0. From Sky News, I'm Tim Jones.
Thank you, Tim. Alan Robson with you. This is Greatest Hits Radio Northeast, and we have a third clue to win you a Night Owl's mug and some of Sue's jewellery. Clue number 1, a posh name for a big tent. Posh name for a big tent. Second clue, when owls fly, according to Jerry Rafferty. Third clue, this person had a massive greatest hit with Purple Rain. This person had a massive greatest hit with Purple Rain. Who was that then? Nice little red Corvette at $19.99. That's cheap for a little red Corvette. 3 clues down, 1 more clue to come. You've got to tell me what links them all together if you can work it out. This has come in from an anonymous person, and it's about mental health. Alan, I've suffered for many years with my mental health, and as daft as it sounds, I've always, without realising, put the radio on for a bit of comfort from like-minded folk, good, bad and ugly and all in between. I've only noticed during lockdown how much of a crutch you have been throughout all of my life, and it's a real shame that the service you provided people at the time of need has been taken away. What the hell is going on? The service you provided essentially would elevate the cost and certainly help the NHS mental health services across the north. I feel so strongly about it. We would have you on 7 days if you could hack it. Oh, I'd do it. And says, if not, please do a personal show on YouTube. And thanks for all the hard work throughout the years. It hasn't gone unnoticed. New member to the parties if ever we get back to normal. Apparently there's some sort of flu going around, he says. 01914 488 3188. It's been a tough shift for those people suffering from mental health issues, and we took it for granted that we had a forum every night, and it's difficult when it's you get one, then you've got to wait a while. I think the one thing that seems to help people with those kind of issues is continuity and feeling the comfort of knowing that this is going to happen at a certain time without question, and it's very, very hard, especially in this day and age, to get such a thing. Anyway, let's carry on. Sarah is with us in Newcastle upon the Tyne. Hello, Sarah.
Hiya,
Hello,
okay?
darling. I'm very well, thank you very much. I gather you're a bit of a glamper.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you know what, Alan? I spoke to you probably, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Right.
And we had good crack on the phone then.
Good.
And now my husband's going, Sarah, stop it, because he's like from down south and that, you know.
Doesn't understand.
And, exactly. And he's going, don't do it. And I'm like, shut up, man, you don't know. You just don't know.
Is he just frightened he's going to get outed as a Southern Jesse? Is this what he's worried about?
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll soon find out. But hey, I'm the one that's going to get the backlash tonight. So stop it. Just be nice to him, please.
All right.
Nice to him.
Fair enough. Where's he from, anyway?
Luton.
How did you get one? How did you get one from Luton?
Well, you know, he moved down here, didn't he? He moved down here,
right?
And he, for work and everything.
Gotcha.
And he was actually my manager.
Oh dear.
I know.
How can he be your boss when you're the boss in the house?
Well, that's the point, isn't it? It turned around a lot. But yeah, no, it's all good now.
That's
it's all good now.
Good to hear, as long as he's looking after you.
Oh God, yeah, 100%.
Good stuff. I'm glad you're happy. So you wanted to talk about glamping. Have you done it then?
So what we did is we maybe broke the rules the other day a little bit, but
right.
We had the so we got the whole. I'm trying to think of the word. We got the tent thing out the other day.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
The thing, and and that was it. We thought, right, okay, if we can't get in contact with people,
right,
we're gonna sit opposite ends in this, that, and the other, and that's what we did. We just sat and we had a drink opposite
in the tent.
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought glamping was like super posh, where you had a proper bed in there and stuff. You just sounds like you just sat in a tent.
No, that's kind of what it was, because it was like, obviously, you know, it was right outside the house, so yes, it was posh, because you had the house thing going on.
All right.
I don't want to, like, you know.
No, but on top of that, I understand. You just wanted to look at something other than the same walls you've been staring at for the last year and a bit.
Well, that's not all we've been doing, but my friend, this is the thing, though, you see, Alan.
Right.
I'm thinking, I don't want to get anybody into trouble.
Right.
As well.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going, right, okay, so we've had, like, it's like a marquee, right? It's like a marquee.
Oh, that is
like
posher, right? Fair dues.
No, it's not like posh. It's like, what we're doing is, we'll put it up, we did it outside, and everything's amazing. But, like, and we did the thing, we had a Chinese and everything like that. I just don't want to get anyone in trouble.
How's that getting you into trouble, though? You're on your own ground, aren't you? Or were you on somebody else's ground?
No, it's on our ground.
Well, there you go. That's still allowed.
I know, but I don't think we're allowed ours yet.
Well, you're only not allowed if you bring, like, strangers. Were you picking randoms in to have a spring roll or something?
No. It's all fine. It's all, like, you know, friends and that. There's no randomers that are just, you know.
But you had a load of friends in there, did you? Because that's
no, just one friend, just my best friend.
Well, you're allowed that from tomorrow, but you were just a day or so in advance. That was all, I think.
Well, damn right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Okay.
I like that.
You'd still get fined, but we'll view it.
Shut up. Nobody knows where I am. Nobody knows what's going on.
But if the police are listening, I do have a phone number.
Alan Robson, you're my Betty mate. I can't believe you'd do such a thing.
Well, you're just talking about giving Chinese meals to people other than me. Come on, steady on.
Oh, my God. I mean, Alan, if you want to come along for Chinese, that's no bother at all.
I fancy a curry in your marquee.
Right, well, that's fine. If you want to sorry, in my marquee, crack on, no bother. But, like, I tell you what, you know. Hey, do you know what I'm saying, though, Alan, right? I think this is good because, like I say, I had this conversation with you probably 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I got a Conor Reeves CD from you.
Oh, well, there you go. I tell you. Nice.
But that's what I'm saying.
Little bonus
15
prize.
years ago, that's how much I was on the case and... Oh,
That's good. Well, I'm
not though.
Glad you're still there then, Sarah. Thank you very much. And we'll be watching out. Everybody that's had a view of somebody's marquee will say, I bet that was that Sarah, Doris.
I know, they'll be kicking right off, won't they?
Nah, get away with it. Hey, enjoy. Lovely talking to you, Sarah. Thanks for coming back, love.
Oh, you too.
Thanks, Alan. Bye-bye. And Sarah and her Luton man, there you go. And he's treating her well, so we can just shower him with love and affection. There you go. 0191 488 3188. Now, we've had a couple of other people emailing about the mental health issues and kind of agreeing at where we were with the last one. Thank you very much for your kind words. Just wish it was different for those suffering in that particular area, because it looks like there's no safety net to this day for people in that situation. We got good people like Mind and organisations like that, but it's not the same as having the outreach that we did have previously. Harry's with us in Wardley. Hello, Harry.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Good morning to you, sir. What can we do for you?
I want to take you back in time.
Okay.
Can you remember? Now, I'm going back a lot of years ago.
Oh, dear. Right, okay.
A lot of years ago.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, hell. Right, okay.
Somebody did a Mexican wave at Gateshead Stadium.
Oh, right.
And that person did the Mexican wave to who? And who was that person? Can you remember?
Well, mind you, I've had a few Mexican waves at Gateshead International Stadium because we did a lot of charity football matches there. Was it? Oh, hang on. It was quite possibly not a charity football match. It was possibly one of the gigs we did with
That's right.
With bands. Which one was it?
I'll give you a clue. It's a she.
Oh, it's Tina then.
That's right.
Tina,
and it was a young Alan Robson that did it.
It was, indeed.
It was, indeed, yes. I can remember that one. Can I not?
Special night, the Tina shows, mind. They were
great. It was a good show. Good show.
Absolutely. Hey, well, thank you very much for being there for me. Appreciate it. I'm fairly sure you were probably there for Tina, but I'll take it that you were there for me.
Wait. I can remember it, I'll tell you. I can remember it.
Good stuff.
Anyway, I'll tell you what I'm ringing you for, Alan. People with dogs. Mm-hmm. Okay? I've got two stuffies.
Right.
Now, you mentioned stuffies, and people go, oh, stuffies. God.
Yeah.
Vicious.
Yep.
Right?
Uh-huh.
They're not vicious. They're not. Depends how you bring them up. Depends what you do with them.
Right.
Now, I've got two, and they're both rescue.
Right.
I've got one from Sunderland, one from Whitby.
Mm-hmm.
Dog from Sunderland, bitch from Whitby.
Right.
They get along absolutely fine. But the problem I've got is the dog. Now, he's the most loving little lad you'll ever get.
Right.
He's absolutely brilliant with the kids.
Yeah.
Brilliant with me and the wife. He's great with anybody. If you come along, you could stroke him, you could pet him. He'd sit all day. He'd be with you. But when you have him out for a walk, he absolutely hates and detests other dogs.
Right.
Now, when I've got him out, I've got him on a leader. I've got one on his harness.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one on his collar, so he's on two leaders.
Yeah, so you got a bit more security with him.
It's so he cannot escape.
Gotcha.
He can get off his harness, but he cannot get off his collar.
Mm.
And if he gets off his collar, he cannot get off his harness.
Right.
So I've always got him by one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's for his safety, you see.
Yeah, right.
And what gets on my wit is these people that come out for a walk with their dogs and they don't have it on a leader. And they're walking towards you.
Yeah.
And the sea, right, now he's been badly treated.
Right.
From the time I got him. And the problem is there's a neighbour around the corner whose dog has gotten out the garden twice.
Right.
Which is a stuffy, and it got him by the neck.
Right.
And he's never ever forgot that. And he detests other dogs now. And people are walking up the road and they see you, and you've got yours, like I've got him on his lead and that, and they're just walking up, their dog's off the lead and around you shouting.
But there are, I mean, I'm not a dog owner, so apologies for probably not having a clue what I'm talking about. But if you went to a park, say, and you've got your dog on your double, your double header, your two leads, people would be expected to let their dogs off the lead in a park.
They would, but when they're walking towards you and you're saying to them, get a hold of your dog, he's not dog friendly, and they're looking at you as if you're stupid, and they let their dog come over, and he starts getting aggressive, and he's growling and snarling, he starts snacking, because their dog's feeling it's coming to him.
Yeah.
He's under control because he's on a leader. Do you see where I'm coming from?
No, absolutely. But
know?
on the other hand,
you
you'll have seen hundreds of in your time as a dog owner. You'll have seen hundreds of people that have got a dog. They go for a walk down the road or down the lane every day. The dog's off the lead, but it stays within usually 4 to 5 feet of where the owner is, or alternatively they've got it on a lead but it's on one of those red extending things that wouldn't stop a dog stepping out into the road or coming up to a dog that's on a lead that's not dog friendly. You
try to tell them and then they're looking at you as if you're stupid, or they're saying to you,
or they're thinking you should have that have a muzzle on it then.
Yeah, but why should you have it muzzled? You're telling them he's not dog friendly. Keep your dog away from him.
Yeah, but if he's not
I've
dog
got him
friendly,
on a short leader.
Why would he be? If he's not dog friendly, why don't you muzzle him so that he can't harm the dogs that are friendly?
Because when another dog comes to him, if it attacks him and he's muzzled, what chance has he got?
Right, but I mean, I'm guessing that most dogs, that people have, and I'm not talking about the people that have got Rottweilers or Dobermans or German Shepherds necessarily, or other staffies or pit bulls, for heaven's sake, but most other people's dogs tend to be, they wouldn't stand a chance up against a staffy. So surely if that dog's more potentially damaging, surely that's the one, instead of having to keep every dog on a leash wearing a muzzle because your dog's not friendly. If your dog's the issue, and I'm not saying that he's an issue in per se, certainly not in your house or anything. You say he's a sweetheart. I accept that. As soon as you said it, I just looked in my list of phone calls. I've got probably 80 here talking about staffy attacks, where dogs are either attacking other dogs or attacking people.
Yeah.
So when you say your dog's a sweetheart, and I know you can always argue it's not the dog, it's the way the dog's been raised, and I accept that. I got no argument with that. But there's a lot. I mean, I've got more documentation of staffy attacks than any other, and I know there's other dogs that have attacked more nationally, but there's a lot. And if they're prone to snack at other dogs for whatever reason, surely you're the one that's supposed to take care of that. And when you say, but that poodle, that Jack Russell, that Labrador might have a go at the dog, so they should all be on. If they're friendly dogs, why should the friendly dogs be muzzled to protect the fact that yours doesn't like other dogs?
I mean, the thing is, Alan, he was on a leader.
No, I know that, absolutely.
Minding
it's
his own business when the other dog actually
comes up to say hello.
Garden.
But you see,
so that one come out of the garden and got a hold of him.
All right. Well, that's wrong. And whoever's dog that was should have had more control. I hear that, but I see people tootling. There was one that had some kind of spaniel. I don't know dogs enough to be able to name what kind of spaniel. It looked like a spaniel. and it's just tootling along the road. It's 10 yards ahead of the guy. The guy's got his lead in his hand, but the dog, and when the car was coming past, he shouted, "Come on," and the dog came back to his side. I presume a reasonably well-trained animal to do that. Why should they have to be on a lead and wear a muzzle because of your dog?
It's fine if the dog stays with the owner, but it's when they let the dogs come to you and you're saying to them, he's not dog friendly.
Right.
And they just, they stand back and they're looking and as if they say, well, so?
Yeah, I'm trying to run a parallel
You know?
with human beings. If you've got a guy that attacks other people, you don't restrain all of the other people who would never attack. You restrain the person who's likely to attack.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not understand that?
Oh, yeah.
So
But
what's the difference?
If I'm walking up the road and somebody attacked me, then obviously I'm going to attack back.
Yeah, but most of these dogs are not. They're not going to attack. And I know you've had an attack, so okay, on occasions it happens. But most dogs, when they see another dog, they come up, sniff his bum, do a dog equivalent of "hello, let's look at your hoop," and then they get out, they wag their tail, they might bark a bit, and happy days. They're not there to say, "Oh, every dog is a threat, I shall kill it now." I mean, most dogs don't do that. The vast majority are reasonably friendly.
I mean, if you get a no staffies mind, I've always had Alsatians.
Right.
And it's the first ones I've had. And I'll be honest, you get no staffies and they are the most loving dog. You know, they say, "Oh, I wouldn't have one next to a kid, and I wouldn't this, I wouldn't that, I wouldn't the other." I tell you what, you get them next to people, they're the most loving dog and loyal dog you'll ever come across.
But has he hurt any other animals? Has he hurt any other dogs?
Oh, no, I wouldn't let him get that far. Right. That's hence the reason he's on a leader.
But then
he's
again,
also on his collar.
But you have no defence against the dog that's loose, comes round the corner, he's 20 yards away from his owner who's just out chucking sticks for him, and there's your dog and this one lopes towards him, whether to say hello or whatever, then there's a fight.
Well, I've got to get between them. If it happens, I've got to get there. I've got to get between them and stop them.
Right.
You know? Right, yeah. Or I've got to grab the other person's dog and keep them apart.
Difficult, though.
You know?
Difficult, because I would imagine yours will be...
difficult.
Yours will be fully in fight mode as well when that happened. Either to defend you or to defend itself, I suppose.
It's difficult, but I mean, I've never ever let him bite another dog, and I wouldn't let him do it, you know.
Right. No, you see, you sound like a responsible owner. It's just...
I definitely wouldn't let that happen. That's a big no-no as far as I'm concerned.
But you see, when you say something like, "Well, I wouldn't put a muzzle on him because what if a dog attacks him?" That's like saying, "Well, I'll carry a knife because you never know, some human being might try and stab me." But you're the one with a knife.
You're coming from.
Yeah.
I know exactly where you're coming from on that score.
You're singing the right things to one degree, and you say, "I understand what you mean about, your dog being the issue." It is. It is the issue. It's not, the sniffy Labrador that just wants to come up and say hello. It's your dog doesn't like other dogs, and if so, the other dogs need to be protected from him.
I mean, I must be honest. If he wasn't the sort of dog that would go for other dogs, and he was off a leader, and I seen somebody coming towards me with a dog that was on a leader, I'll get a hold of him straight away and put him on his leader.
That's great.
I would be thinking to myself, why is mine off and his isn't? Is there a problem with his dog? Will it go for me dog? Is it a sort of dog that would bite? You know what I mean?
I hear that, but
that you think.
Well, that's what you think because you've got a dog that has a reputation issue, whether you like it or not. You know the dogs because you've kept them, but most people have just heard a lot of the stories and probably even some of the clips of what people have said on shows such as this. I get it. I don't think you're going to solve this overnight, and
definitely not.
And I think that they're always going to have a bit of an issue when there's so many people that have fallen foul of them for one reason or another, probably because they've been raised by these nuggets who have dogs for all the wrong reasons.
They're used by more young'uns, you know. When I'm saying young'uns, I'm on about kids 18, 19, 22, 23-year-olds.
Sure.
that use and abuse them, and they walk around with these big, thick harnesses and big, thick collars on, and it's like,
Yeah, but they're quite
stuffy, and it's a symbol, what
and
I
they
mean?
quite like letting it loose to pick on small dogs because they're cowards themselves, you see. So that's it. Hey, but good talking to you, Harry. Thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. All the best. I'm not going to play you. I could play like 30 clips of more of staffy attacks. Just going to share one with you because this is kind of the stuff that we get a lot of. I'm not saying they're bad dogs. I'm just saying we've had a lot of this kind of stuff.
Basically, it was my neighbour's dog, which he knew the dog. They'd only had the dog 4 weeks, so she'd get him from a rescue home.
Right.
And the children had actually played with the dog, took the dog out for walks and everything, and he was just coming home. And we're stroking the dog, and then all of a sudden it started growling, so I actually moved my little boy out of the way.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the dog actually just turned and leaped on his face.
And actually bit his face?
Bit his face. And because I was there, my reaction was like mother's instinct is to I just grabbed the dog and flung the dog off him.
Right.
But of course, because that split second, his face was in a right state. It was absolutely right state.
His eyes are okay.
Just below his eye, it's got but his eyes are fine.
Did he need stitches? I'm sure he needed hospital treatment, probably.
Yeah, he got transferred to the RVI. He's actually lost a nerve in the side of his face.
How old is he?
He's on 8.
8-year-old.